All right, welcome back, folks. London, England, the beautiful London Eye there in the shot. I am Sir Scoots. I am again joined by Duncan, Thorin Shields, and Richard Lewis.
Yeah, nice one. I love how you're trying to pass off that you knew what that landmark was.
I've been in the Eye.
Don't lie. You were like, what's this big wheel?
I'm glad he always clarifies that we're not in London, Ontario in Canada, because I always wonder about that myself.
I am following my rundown, gentlemen. I am supposed to say London, England. There's also a London Bridge, Arizona.
While you're reading your rundown, learn some history as well, yeah?
No, I've been in the Eye, man.
Listen, Scott,
really?
you know, your forefathers didn't...
I thought they had a height restriction.
Scott, your forefathers didn't fight a war so that you could come here and work under the sort of suffrage.
He's on about the war now. Show's over, boys. We're done.
The English
what part of
king,
we don't bash on each other are you all not getting?
You can refer to Richard as Richard the Redcoat Lewis in all your future intros. You know. And you can be Scott Robert E. Lee Smith.
Yeah, all right, so let's go ahead and get back on topic. Okay. I got people in my ear yelling at me about you all. Like, all right, so
I figure that's
we've
usual,
ruined the show.
Yeah, the show is ruined. Again, Virtus.Pro, Cloud9. Yep. Before we get into that, they're going to start bringing us kind of the group updates so we can kind of see if you're just tuning in where we're at.
Yep.
But again, we're halfway through the day. We've done a grand total of 4 matches, 2 on each stage, 2 more to go on each stage. So again, halfway through, 1 upset with Fnatic dropping a map.
Yep.
Cloud9.
And nearly dropping the other. Pretty big.
Yeah. So here you go. Here is the A graphics coming to us. And you can see our standings, folks. Again, if you're just tuning in, they're best of 2s in group play. If you win a map, you get a point. If you win both maps, you get 3 points total. A map for each, a point for each, and then a bonus. So
I mean, we're obviously missing the Fnatic Vox one there because maybe it didn't end while they were updating the graphics.
Yeah. So that ends up, Fnatic ends up with 1 point, and Vox ends up with 1 point because they split that series. Yeah. And again,
we will. Cost-Vinus will be very close on that one.
Yeah, and we do track round because there is a series of tiebreakers if we have to get to that point. So we are tracking the rounds for and against. And then the next group's going to come up in just a second. And again, right now we've got Cloud9 did exactly what they needed to do. They won their set 2-0. Titan barely won their set 2-0. But again, good stuff for them. And again, unfortunately, Immunity at the bottom, they're now going to have to take the spoiler role and just see what they can do tomorrow in the sense of taking a map or 2 away from people.
Yeah, I mean,
but for a team that went 0-2, they did have that one map that was overtime with Titan, so that's still commendable effort, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Commendable effort, but ultimately, you know,
futile.
Yeah, futile. Like, you don't really get anything.
It's kind of a description of Scott's role on this desk, you know.
Damn you. So the rule's over, right?
Okay. No, but that final one, last one, and starting now.
Okay.
All mates. All mates.
All right,
love you. Let's hold hands.
Here's the big
one. Let's hold hands
for
this whole segment.
Oh, wow.
I am alone.
All right, back on top.
Cloud9 versus VP. Like I said, this is a series that I think is really going to pretty much dictate just how well Cloud9 are going to do. Because I can't see Cloud9, I mean, sure, Titan did put on a particularly convincing performance there, but I just think stylistically Cloud9 and Titan, I think Titan will have, you know, enough, especially if they get on Inferno against them. Envious, can't really give them too much truck against Envious, but Virtus.Pro, we know historically this series produces good games. We know historically Cloud9 can play and win against Virtus.Pro, and we know Virtus.Pro are an unknown quantity at the best of times. So for me, this is Cloud9's time to prove, you know, that actually we are here, we can fly that North American flag.
Well, because when you look to the rest of the group, even ignoring Titan for a moment, it's very hard to see them getting 2 maps off Envious. Envious have a lot of maps they're good on, and the style of player they have is a very strong aimer, and they play very arrogantly, actually. Like when they're playing people they think are lesser than them, they don't respect them, and as a result, they'll actually dominate them. They won't just beat them, they'll kind of crush them completely. So it's hard to see how Cloud9, unless they have something really special up their sleeve, can go against Envious. So it's between VP and Titan. They must get at least 1, if not both wins here to get out the group. So you have to feel like VP's a very viable chance, because like you say, the history that they've played amongst each other. Also, now they've got this new wrinkle to it that they never had in the past, which is a strong, dominant AWPer. Because in the past, every time they ever played Virtus.Pro, then Virtus.Pro could know, right, no one can match Pasha with the AWPer. No one can even go head-to-head with him. Okay, they can use it a bit, but he can use it whenever he wants on any map. Now, Skadoodle, hey, this would be a great chance for him to show, hey, I really am the best NA player. In fact, I'll outshine one of Europe's still premier names in Pasha.
Now, so depending on what maps we see here, yeah, sure, Skadoodle's going to play a big part. You know, I'm a fan. I've made that abundantly clear. But this is Freakazoid. right? This is Freakazoid territory.
This is Freakazoid.
Yeah,
this represents Freak, and this desk is Virtus.Pro.
Freakazoid.
Okay. Yeah.
But how good can he play? He's tore immunity apart, right? With his entry fragging. How good can he do it against some of the old masters of Virtus.Pro, the smart players who can aim against him back, And this is what we want to see. Like, can he do it against these big teams? So think about it like baby steps, right? He's proved he's at immunity level. That's like level 1. All right, so now we go to level 2.
Beginner setting on the bots, then you put it up to the next one.
Right, so now we're going to novice, right? Can you be adept? Okay? And that isn't to be disrespectful about Virtus.Pro because they can beat any other team in the world on their day. But we never know when their day is going to come. It's an absolute lottery. So Freakazoid can open up bomb sites for them here on any map that they play them on. Cloud9 can do well. They can have a numerical advantage right from the start. And that's what I mean. Like, Skadoodle is an upgrade from Shazam, but technically they did have an AWPer. Technically, right, as you would put it.
Yeah.
Right? But this new sort of entry fragger role that's coming in that can consistently do it, that's a huge new weapon for Cloud9.
I mean, there's 3 steps. Anyone out there who's learning CS, there's 3 steps to being an AWPer. You have to spawn into the server, you have to buy an AWP, and then the 3rd step, you have to fire the AWP and get kills with it. So he was doing 2 out of 3. He was giving him 66% of the objectives there. He just fell on that last one, that little step. He's this close to getting it there.
It takes all 3.
Yeah.
You've got no chill, bro.
Yeah, chill, bro.
But no, the thing is, when you look at the guys from Cloud9 now, yeah, like I say, this is a tool that they've never had in the past. They've never had this potentially really strong player that can. In fact, I'd say there's some of the VP players, depending on their form, he could outshine them,
Yeah, well, I agree.
It's not like now they're going to have to win just with their brain and the tactics and team play. Now they can actually go head-to-head with some aim as well.
So question for you. Obviously, brand new roster with C9, so not a whole lot of demos, like Taz and Gang can't do a lot of homework. Does that really matter to a team like VP?
I've often
really
wondered
help Cloud9,
I've often wondered about this, actually, because they're such a hard team to read just in terms of the personalities. Duncan's known them longer than I have, so he'll be able to tell you exactly what I'm talking about. They seem to have this nonchalance, which is like this sort of they exude this belief that they're the best, but they do not want to give away that they might actually have to work at it. In fact, very often when you talk to them, they'll be like, yeah, we haven't practiced. We can't possibly practice, Pasha's a dad now. We don't even like each other that much. We try not to spend time with each other out when we don't have to at tournaments. And you can never tell how much of that is like Taz joking around, how much of that is Neo just being quiet. You never get a read on how accurate they're being. My gut feeling is I think this is a team that will happily scrim and practice, and I think their idea of like a demo review session or a tactics session is an absolute slobber knocker of an argument, which typically seems to end in someone saying, well, I'll call for the next tournament.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I don't know. I don't even know if there were demos available that will make much difference. Virtus.Pro play their game. They go in the tournaments with their mindset, and either it's good and they roll over people and they get momentum going, or it's bad and they beat themselves and they come out and they bemoan what happened.
Well, the thing is, because they have such a volatile style of play, it's so aggressive as well. I always feel like when the players, just the performance level isn't there, it doesn't work, and therefore they don't seem to always understand why isn't it working. Like they don't have a plan B, put it that way. They don't have something they can go to. They can't grind rounds out. Like we can definitely get some with this tactic, and if that flash was slightly different, they don't really have that sort of adaptation. It either works and they're great and they're one of the best teams in the entire world. They can win a tournament, or as we saw 4 times this year already, this team that's been all these tournaments and is one of the best in the world, has won a lot of money, 4 times this year failed to get out of the group. So this is a team that sometimes can lose to lesser teams, can lose to teams that if they met them in a semi-final, they might just thrash them completely. But in a group stage, you never know with this team. And I always feel like that's the thing. They themselves don't know when it's on and off. Like usually, actually, the really top teams, the confidence, the arrogance comes when they kind of feel like, nah, we're in form right now. You won't beat us a few players. VP can sometimes be like that, and then that's the time when actually they flop. Yeah. Meanwhile, other times they'll tell you, like, listen, I haven't practiced at all. Like, this guy's getting on my nerves. Like, I'm not playing well. And then that's the game where they just smash completed 16-4, and you're like, this team can win the tournament.
The amount of times, actually, that Virtus.Pro, when we've been talking in between maps, and they've gone, we're going to be garbage. We haven't practiced. We cannot beat these people. We're all arguing. People aren't listening to calls.
The first Gfinity that they won,
exactly.
Before the first stage even over, they were like, we've got all these problems. Like, what was going on there? We should have won against Titan. And then obviously on the last day, everything just came together. But they couldn't even have known that was going to happen.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So I think sometimes they surprise themselves. They don't even know what they're capable of from one moment to the next. I mean, that's what makes them such an exciting team. I mean, this is a team that, let's just say, if they ever were to separate ways with Virtus.Pro, this is the team that you would want communities to have a whip round to get to tournaments, because they're capable of beating anybody, and they're always going to be entertaining and exciting, but equally they can be a complete disaster.
So
they
Team
can flop.
Kickstarter, maybe, and then
exactly.
There you go.
Team Indiegogo.
Well, and it seems to me this team, almost more than any other team in the pro scene, like, beats themselves more than gets beat, right?
It's been done to death, Scott. I mean, you know, there's no doubt it's accurate. But the point is, there's this huge power dynamic within Virtus.Pro, and it comes down to, you've got veterans like Taz, and Taz believes that, and he's always super critical of himself, but I think he believes that actually in this team, I'm probably the smartest one. And therefore, I should be maybe pulling the strings a bit more. I think there's probably a little bit of, I would be loath to call it resentment, but the fact that Pasha's emerged as a star player, when in actual fact at the back end of 1.6, Pasha used to get more scrutiny and more criticism than anyone else, because he was the guy who broke up the Golden Five. And now he's transitioned into being almost like the face of Virtus.Pro. And I think people are like, well, actually, he doesn't put in the same amount of work as like a Neo or a Taz. So that's always playing there, that, you know, Pasha's star power actually eclipses everyone else in the team. And then you've got these new youngsters who've come in. And I'll tell you, I've never met anyone as fierce as Bialy. Like, he is aggressive. And I'm not talking on the server. Yeah. I'm talking about if there's any disputes in the team, he'll go head to head. I've seen him been like that with the players arguing between rounds about what goes down. There's no giving him. He will not bend. He will not yield. He knows what he wants to do. So when you put this all together, you know, and of course you've got Neo, who's like the god of Counter-Strike. When you put all of this together, that is a crazy powder keg that can go off one way or the other. It can be a beautiful fireworks display, or it can be a catastrophic implosion.
Okay, so we have our map choices. We don't necessarily know who vetoed what, unfortunately, but we do have our choices. That's going to come to you guys right now. So Cloud9 picked Cash. That'll be our first map. And VP picked Train. Woo.
Now, here's what's interesting about this, Scott. Cloud9's pick is a map that traditionally, and against Virtus.Pro, has been good for Cloud9. I understand the logic behind why they're thinking they can play it. They're thinking they can outstrat them on this map. But this is one of the best maps for Virtus.Pro. They're an amazing cash team. I've seen them beat TSM, loads of really good teams on this map. Like, this is a map where I think some of the best teams, like Fnatic, wouldn't want to necessarily play them on cash. So that's dangerous in itself. But then again, VP, it's almost like they've replied back with their own gambit. Like, hey, a brand new map, Train, you played it before, but hey, maybe, presumably, VP's going the route of trying to get these extra maps to get against the top teams. Because I know VP was one of the teams that have made Cobblestone a must-ban against them by showing that they're very good at it. So I think their approach to when they want to play the MVSs and the NIPs of the world is they want to have all the kind of weird maps in their pocket.
I mean, I got to say, I love the sort of almost like Duncan says, there's almost an arrogance to that pick by Cloud9 there, like almost, because I'll tell you, if this was a Fnatic or an Envious and they were playing Virtus.Pro right now in this kind of format tournament, I'm pretty sure they'd just eliminate Cash, because they're like, we don't want to play Virtus.Pro on that particular map. As confident as we are, it's not worth the risk, because if Virtus.Pro are on form, this is the map they'll destroy you on. So they get rid of it. So I think you're right. I mean, history says Cloud9 can beat them on this map, but yeah,
when you were thinking about vetoes, that's what I'm thinking about. Because VP recently showed themselves along with Fnatic to be unreal on Cobblestone, I feel like it has to have been a Cobblestone ban from C9. So I'm thinking, what else would they ban? Mirage, there's an obvious one. So maybe there's their two bans.
Yeah.
So, okay, Overpass maybe is a ban for Virtus.Pro. That's a map they, in general, don't want to play.
Yeah, they don't like playing.
So then we've got one left, which is presumably Inferno and Dust 2. They had to pick between which one they didn't want out of those. Now I'm guessing they would take out Dust 2. So understandable choices here as to what's there. I think there's a logic to it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's still bold to pick Train.
Yeah, I was going to say, I get the logic, but picking Train here is, again, it's really interesting, because I think it shows that Cloud9 are really confident in what they can do. But Virtus.Pro here, taking Train, that's a risk, that's a gamble. That points to them obviously being in confident mood, you know, because to let that one through, it's a wild card map. We haven't seen a lot of it yet. There aren't any established strats. You know, outside of 3 videos from Anders, I think that's pretty much where we're at as a competitive scene right now.
I mean, classically, they used to be a very strong Train team, but that map was totally different. You can't carry any of that over, because I know people tried to do that when they first made the switch on Overpass and Cobblestone. The teams that were strong on them before were like, hey, we'll keep playing them. And because they were so drastically changed, that actually, some of them, they found they were 180 diametrically opposed to what the new map philosophy was, and they had to abandon them. So an example, would have been like Overpass, some of they used to play, they don't play it anymore. So if either team loses their choice here, I think questions can be asked just of the pick ban.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of a strange veto. But I got to say, I think it points to Virtus.Pro. I think actually overall they're probably feeling the best about this.
Well, they've got the free roll where they can potentially win Cloud9's pick, whereas we don't know yet how Cloud9 will do here because they only played Immunity, and we don't know how good Immunity was in training.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the real question.
But I mean, then again, the fact that it's come up a couple of times, I think that what does that point to, right? Does that mean that Cloud9 have been going away and thinking, okay, this is how we can be the wild card at this tournament? We just smash train as much as we can, and we try and catch teams off guard if they let it through. I don't know if that's a strategy.
Not a bad approach.
It never is. Whenever there's a new map in a map pool, there's always one team that will try that. We saw it with Cobble when that first came out, and Overpass when that first came out. So maybe that is a good choice. But I don't know. I think overall, looking at the two maps, I think the series favors Virtus.Pro.
Let's take one more look at and just kind of remind everyone what we're looking at here, choices-wise. Obviously, Cash and Train. Now, my thought on Cash was, that's definitely a map where middle control is paramount to victory. So maybe they're just feeling really confident with Skadoodle's op and locking that on both sides. It's very much an op middle map, right, in that sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the interesting thing. We're talking about how Cloud9 can beat Virtus.Pro in this map. We haven't seen a Cloud9 with a Skadoodle in their team.
Yeah.
And, of course, the AWP is hugely important both defensively and offensively, like you say, in that mid-choke point. One little boost over the top, and you get that entry pick, and again, it's like it's open for business like a 7-Eleven. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's how the map operates.
And if you can close it, from connector on the CT side, and they don't get to middle.
Yeah.
So again, like you said, very interesting choice on Train though, especially. I just got the vetoes too, so we can kind of at least look at your logic as you thought. So
because it has them picking Mirage there, but they picked Cash. Remember?
Yeah. So this is okay. So let's just assume that is that. So it looks like VP got rid of Dust 2 and Inferno, and this is map 1, and Train and Mirage leaving Cash for C9, and then map 2.
Which also shows that the other two they had the option from was Cobblestone and Overpass, and they don't want to play either of those.
Yep.
So that's why they go for Cash there. That makes a little bit more sense. In fact, what happened there is Virtus.Pro basically used the map pool against them. They know that Cloud9 very likely won't play the specialist maps, so they've gambled by actually banning out Inferno and Dust 2 themselves to force them into a pick between Cash and one of the specialists. So I guess they maybe knew Cloud9 prefer Cash. That makes sense, actually, once I see the vetoes there. I think that's well played by Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, and then the second map, again, we know it's Train. They banned the exact same stuff. Virtus.Pro did Dust 2 and Inferno, and then Mirage and Cash got vetoed by, I think that's miswritten, but I think, it would be.
The thing is, though, right, so within the context of that series, we're like, Dust 2, Inferno, sure, get rid of them. Over the course of a tournament, if that's going to be the go-to bans for them for this particular event, I wonder how the whole group stage is going to pan out if that's the case, because it's going to leave them playing some maps that they're definitely not comfortable on.
I mean, but again, if you think about it, new roster in Cloud9, no research done by Virtus.Pro, or not a lot to research. Why not get rid of standard maps that they're probably pretty decent at?
On that note as well, there's even the actual benefit, which is that the few matches they can watch are online games, and they're versus other NA teams. So, like I say, it's always hard to gauge how do teams play domestically, like what would they do differently that they wouldn't do against us now. And it's online, so it's going to be very different to the offline. So actually, in a weird way, doing your homework on what's available can actually come back and bite you in a sense, because they might have just been messing around in those online games and doing like basics, but now they've come with special stuff they've got prepared for this tournament. It's always hard to know when it's purely online. That's why most teams I know even still go off the last LAN results. They won't necessarily go off the online results in the meantime. They'll go off the last LAN one and just base their stuff on that and see what their tendencies are.
I think the one thing we can safely assume as well is that in terms of pre-tournament preparation, this definitely means more to Cloud9 in terms of them needing to put on a good show than it does for Virtus.Pro. Virtus.Pro. They're going nowhere. They're well bedded in with the organization. They're comfortable with themselves and exactly what they are as a team. And they come to tournaments and, they want to win. Sure, they're perfectionists. Sure. But again, they know that they're going to blow hot and cold. I think they've accepted that as part of their identity. Cloud9, on the other hand, I think they're like, look, this is a new roster. It has to be a new dawn. We really need to be the ones flying the flag for the NA. We've dumped a bunch of money into this lineup. So we need to start beating teams on what you would probably argue is of a similar level if Cloud9 can deliver to the top.
So the clickbait headline for that there would be like, square brackets, Virtus.Pro are going to blow Richard Lewis.
Yeah.
I like that.
Someone call Aftonbladet.
Oh, jeez.
We'll get them to write that one.
So,
little shot across the bow
Keys
there.
to victory on cash for each team. Same kind of thing, like what players have to stand out, and then behind them, who's got to do well. We'll start with you, Richard.
Yeah, okay. So, like I say, I mean, we alluded to it a little bit. Out of the who's going to play the most important role for Cloud9, you know, it's about the new guys. So let's not talk about Skadoodle. I think everyone is really, you know, knows what he's about. No, you know, I think even on his worst day, he brings a cut above their previous AWPer. Again, no disrespect to him, and is still a top AWPer in the NA scene. Freakazoid for me is
rest in peace.
Yeah, Ripperoni. Freakazoid though, this is a step up for him. Can you entry frag against Virtus.Pro and lead your team to victory off the basis of that?
I have a theory that I want to lay out here because now people are just getting to know Freakazoid. They don't know him. No matter how silly your alias is in CS, if you prove yourself to be an amazing player and you do all these insane highlights, eventually that becomes associated with the name, and we don't think of whatever the initial associations were, and it becomes a cool name. You can be called anything, and eventually it becomes awesome, you know, like Taz, like this is a cartoon character, but we think of it now as this like guy who's willing to trash talk, and he's really bold and charismatic. So as soon as Freakazoid ever becomes like a cool sounding name, you'll know that he actually was a good player. 'Cause at the moment, it sounds ridiculous, you know. So that's going to be the barometer. See, I have a lot of deep analytical tools and processes.
Yeah.
There's like color coordination.
You've knocked it out the park.
People who look similar to each other.
I'm surprised you haven't.
Weigh, like if they use numbers for letters in their name for anything? Does that help or
he's
hurt
not the odd one.
rankings?
But if it, you know, at least he hasn't said, well, Pasha and Freakazoid, you just have an arm wrestle.
Because I'll add some zeros
and then
to
we
my
can
name.
go home. I'm pretty sure that's coming at some point, though.
Okay, so
the muscle vest bros.
Same question to you. Cash, kind of keys of victory on both sides, and players that need to stand out.
I mean, to me, for Cloud9, it needs to be like a T-side victory. They need to get a lot of T-side rounds, and that's the key to them being able to open this up and have a chance here. So, yeah, Skadoodle's AWPing has to be strong because one of the famous things about Virtus.Pro here is when they're on their T-side, if they lock down that middle area, you quickly just get spread out. You can't rotate between the sites. Like, it's going to be very hard. You guys in your site are going to have to just hold against 4 or 5 guys rushing in on them. That's when they kind of get a stranglehold on the map. Before they've even gone into a site, they're very good at controlling in that particular fashion. Because if you try rotating through the mid and you try peeking the mid, they'll just kill you. They're setting up for that and waiting for you. Controlling the events, controlling the mid, controlling the T area, controlling kind of the short area. They're very, very good at that. So how do you disrupt that? Well, one thing you can do is you can have your AWPer killing the guys who get boosted. You can play aggressively up, but all of this comes from you have to have someone who can strike back at them immediately. You kind of have to set that in motion initially. Like, you can't take over mid like that. So I think Skadoodle has to be really on point here. For Virtus.Pro, I don't think it particularly has to be one person as a performance. They're just so good as a team that if even 1 or 2 of them are on their normal level, this can be a very winnable map for them. So I'd say I'll pick Snacks just because it's one of the maps that can be a playground for him. He can just be very, very strong on this map. And so he loves to, especially because that mid area is all about your smokes that go down. That's where he can abuse smokes. He gets into spots. He's just got a knack for that kind of a map, you know.
I mean, I was going to say Snacks because actually, hands down, you know, the 2 maps where he really shines on because he's such an intelligent player and he knows how to use terrain and he knows how to use smokes and play for time. It's always Mirage and Cash where he really, really shines and does the crazy stuff where you're like, that can't be real. I can't believe what I've just seen. So he's definitely one to watch, no doubt about it. I think within the context of what we're saying about how Freakazoid's entry fragging and Skadoodle's AWPing is going to be so important to opening up this map, and exactly right, the T side is where the damage needs to be done. There's a lot resting on Pasha as well, because Pasha's the guy who's probably going to end up going head-to-head with either the entry fragger and or the AWPer. He's going to be the guy that's going to have to be, you know, put his neck out, if you like, and try and shut them down. Now, if he can do that, and he's capable of doing it, brilliant. Virtus.Pro are set. They're in a good spot, especially as CT. If he can't, they're going to struggle on this map, which, let's not forget, it's Cloud9's pick. Yeah. So I think there's a lot resting on his shoulders. And, of course, look, and I don't think there's any shame in talking about this. This is a guy who, you know, he's an adult with a real life. And, you know, a child of his own.
Does that set him apart from all the other players? Adult, real life?
Well, no. I'll tell you what. I will qualify that. You know, some of these guys who come into these tournaments, you know, perhaps they're students, and you know, it is different when you've got to put the level of hours in to be a top-level elite Counter-Strike player, and you know you're looking after your kid, and trying to be present. You know, you got a wife, all of these things. You know, and of course he piles on the streaming hours as well to be a good ambassador for his team, for his game. Obviously, to top his income up. You know, this is a guy that actually, in terms of time, yeah, he's given over everything that he can to the game right now. Now, sometimes when real life comes knocking on the door, just in case people don't know how that works, right? You know, that can mean, well, I've got to give over. I can't not give my time over to my kid, my wife, all the other stuff. So when that happens, when real life comes knocking and he can't practice as much, that does mean he comes in at a slightly lower level. You never know when that's going to happen. That's the beauty of growing up. That's the miracle of life, you know? So he's you have no idea from one tournament to another exactly what position he's going to be in. And if he's on point, this is going to be a tantalizing matchup. If he isn't, then you've probably got to give the edge to Cloud9 in that particular battle.
The thing is, Pasha initially, in the heyday of when Virtus.Pro got to the top, he was this super consistent player. This is before he had a lot of the marital situation and kind of more responsibilities on his shoulder. Since then, he's been much more up and down. I mean, I actually know him very, very well, to the extent that actually every time I meet him, he refers to me as his friend, you know, so I think
that's kind of unique.
It's kind of unique, yeah. You guys probably don't have that, but like he goes
you.
out of his way to actually tell me that I'm his friend, you know, so... I feel I can speak on his behalf in this sense.
Nice. So, would you change anything in the sense of like players to watch or outcome when you go to train? Same kind of storylines?
For train, it's very hard because I haven't seen Virtus.Pro play it. So.
I got to be honest. In terms of how the new train's playing out, it would be very hard for me to sort of. You know, I think I need to see a few more competitive games before I felt really comfortable talking about the key areas. So I like the fact that this is a lottery. In fact, I would argue probably is what we'll see. Probably more from Cloud9, actually, is going to start teaching us about how competitive teams are going to start approaching this map and what's going to become the norm.
Did they watch Anders' video is the question.
Yeah,
we shall see very quickly on the T side.
I'd want to see a few trains run before I knew which guys to keep my eye out on.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I liked it. It took me a second. Nicely done. So, predictions.
It's a tough one. Real tough to call. Now, the thing is, I think as anyone knows, I've been a big champion of Cloud9. I've always liked them, both as an organization and as a team. I think they've made some necessary changes here. I think this is potentially the best iteration of Cloud9. And of course, if anything were to go wrong, you know, and certain bans were to be overturned, they got a great, you know, standing potentially waiting in the wings that I would think whoever made way, he could potentially make them stronger.
Kaylee's going to go to America.
yeah.
Double upset,
no,
baby.
Mate, I was talking about Emilio,
mate.
Who definitely didn't do it. But of course not. Never guilty. First time. So anyway, you know,
and again, obviously, for the people that don't know at home, he's talking about Swag. Swag is a coach, streamer for them right now.
Well, I mean, but he is actually doing stuff. I mean,
analyst,
This is what's interesting, okay? Now, some organizations will be quite cynical, and it's like, look, it's worth having him around just in case the ban gets lifted. So let's bring him in, and he's a superstar in the making. This kid, like, easily the best young talent that NA's produced in a good while. He's got so much potential. It's really sad what's happened, but let's not go over the old ground again. But he's waiting in the wings, all right? But you could just have him there, have him as a streamer, have him as a personality. You bring him along, you treat him like a mascot. Here's some pom-poms, wave him around, yeah? You could do that. But I've actually got him doing analysis. That's the key thing here.
Yeah.
He's actually analysing games. He's actually going over things with the team. He's actually going over things with them and making a positive contribution. And that's what's interesting here, that he is giving
that's the
his
thing,
knowledge.
Though, from the outside, it's always hard to know if that's going on, I actually tried to visualize what it'd be like. I actually had a video where it was about, I think it was the one about the NA Shuffle, where I tried to visualize what it might be like for Swag when he gives them analysis. So just go on my YouTube channel, look up the NA Shuffle, Thorin's thoughts, and I've got a little impression there of what maybe Swag does for them in terms of analysis. You might enjoy it. It's very in-depth, though, guys. I don't want to do it on air. I'd rather you guys kind of tell the way I break the game down. It's very, very intricate, very serious stuff.
I love how you always plug in your YouTube channel as well. It's like,
Do you want to plug your YouTube channel?
There's no point.
Nothing
Mate,
on there,
nothing on there, really, no.
He probably wants to plug his Reddit threads.
But,
do you want to plug like Gotfrag videos from 10 years ago that no one can watch because they don't exist
We
anymore?
raised the bar, guys.
Whichever site owns that. Cheers, whichever production company owns that website. You're doing a bang-up job.
Shout out to Midway.
No more tears.
But, so anyway, getting back to what I'm talking about here, I think this Cloud9, I hate to use the word potential because I think what you said about potential, which I won't repeat, is on point, that it's a fairly meaningless word because if it's never realized, what are we even talking about here? But I think Cloud9 can realize that potential. I think this is a real strong-looking team. And I think if this can stay together, if this team can stay together and they can get to more tournaments like this and get results against the top teams, they're going to be set. They will be flying the flag for a name. There's no doubt about it.
The difference is, when I say that, like, potential is kind of a meaningless term, just because it's misapplied. Like, usually people keep using potential for a guy where every now and then he does something crazy, but he's actually shown you consistently that he'll never be at that level day to day. But people keep saying, but because he did that once, he could. What if he used to do that every time? That's not potential, actually. That's just wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Instead, potential is like this, where we haven't had a chance to see them yet. We know that the pieces on paper look excellent.
Exactly.
And if added together the right way, the blend could be excellent. So now we have this is where we'll see the potential. We'll get to actually test it out here. Well, and if they do badly at this tournament, some of that potential will be gone.
Duncan's absolutely right there. I mean, I said when I was managing teams, you're actually better off taking someone who's, I don't know, let's say 70%, but that's his consistent level. He never really hits 100. You know, he never hits that, like, super thing. But you know what he is. He's a known quantity. You're going to get a set, you know, performance from him every time. A guy who goes from here to there to here to there, get him out there. You know, because they're the frustrating ones. You never know what you're going to get from tournament to tournament. And the fact they can do it suggests almost implicitly that it's some sort of application issue. That they should be, if they can hit that level of performance once, they should be able to find something within themselves to achieve it consistently. So inconsistent players, like we talk about potential, they're always going to be the biggest disappointments, no doubt about it.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. We're going to take a quick break, folks, and we come back. Virtus.Pro versus Cloud9, first map. Cash, come on back.
Can stay right here, we will play until somehow you can find a slightly different frame of mind. Right here in my arms, away from all harm, you'll be safe from all the flares, although I know you don't care. Take a deeper breath and give it time. shattered frame of mind. Risk that you could always stay. We can wait right here and play until somehow you can find a slightly better frame of mind. Take a deeper breath and give it time. You can walk the path among the lines with your shattered frame of mind. Risk that you could always stay. We can wait right here and play until somehow you can find a slightly better frame of mind. And when the light comes through, when that day isn't you, then it will be time for a new frame of mind. When all eyes are on you, you will know what to do, since you will have found your new frame of mind. When you lift your head up to the sky, take a deeper breath and give it time. You can walk the path among the lines, but always know that you'll be safe. I'll be here throughout your days. Come find me and we will play.
Shut your eyes,
And now I find that you are gone. I've lost the strength to carry on. Skies above. I still don't know if I am right, but I know that for your love, I'll go to world's end tonight.
All right, folks, welcome back to London, England, Richard Lewis. I'm Sir Scoots, Thorin, Richard Lewis. We're here at Gfinity Arena, Spring Masters #2 for Counter-Strike. About to get ready to rock and roll with Virtus.Pro, Cloud9. Jordan, our buddy. Virtus.Pro. Jordan was having computer issues. You know, and this is kind of the weird thing about esports. Like, that computer was fine for the first 2 matches, and he's using a Logitech mouse. Something with the drivers wasn't working, so they kept swapping out PCs. Finally got it to work, so we're good to go there. You know, again, obviously, very sorry for the delay. It's certainly not something we want to do.
He better drop 50 frags like he did last time. Now.
Exactly. And I just want to, you know, point out that generally production tells us to get straight and, you know, get back on track, and then they trolled us with that graphic. So I just want to say to Mike and Red Eye, all bets off. I'm turning you off in my ear right now.
We're going rogue.
I don't even, like, we're going rogue.
Yeah.
Commando style, if you will.
Mate,
you know?
I'm outraged. So here we are saving their bacon. Yeah, can you fill?
Can we get an unprofessional thread going?
Can we scoop out the innards of Thorin's brain and get his wisdom? And then it's like, you don't want to listen to these guys.
Throw us under the, tell me to fill and then do that to me.
Look at them. Yeah, there they are. We can see you. We can see you in production. Go on, bring that up.
Yeah.
Go on, bring that up on the main screen. Yeah.
So there you go. There's the production crew right there, actually, the whole gang.
Look at you. Living like that.
Very, very cool stuff up there.
Yeah. Disgusting creatures.
Yeah, you cretins. Okay, so let's get back on track. Now I'm going to get us back on track.
I mean, you know, underpaid, overworked, unimportant. That's how I like to think of it. The three.
I mean, they could all learn if they would just pay more attention to B-Rice and see the work ethic that B-Rice brings. You know, it would really elevate the production level.
Yeah. You don't get a name like B-Rice without being, you know, a hard worker.
I think you guys, if you're a Counter-Strike fan, you don't know who we're talking about with B-Rice, just look him up. He's a codcaster. He was the guy who invented the two-piece?
Two-piece. It was his modification of
so basically, like, if you get 2 kills in COD or something, they call it a two-piece. But I think B-Rice invented that. He actually works for Gfinity. He's like a pioneering Call of Duty caster. Check him out. He's not a mess.
Okay, so let's.
He's not a mess. You did say.
Yeah, he's not.
So during the break, I did. During the break, I went down. I wanted to clarify who was calling for VP because they have flipped a lot, and it is Taz, and he said he's been calling basically since ESEA. Kind of took over and kept that, you know, because I know they flipped a lot between him and Neo before that. But they've also got Cubans sitting behind them all. That's an interesting dynamic in its own right. So walk us through a little bit of, you know, obviously Cuban's history, and then how that relates, good or bad, to the Virtus.Pro guys.
Well, it's definitely an interesting dynamic. So obviously, Cuban goes back. You know, to those glory days with them. And, you know, again, because they've got that history with each other, I imagine it can get quite heated as well. So it's definitely interesting to get that extra viewpoint. But it's like I said, this team is so volatile internally that it seems to be the answer to fixing any internal problems is they shout at each other until someone says, well, you call then, you're in charge. And then they end up taking over. Now, interestingly, I think at the last tournament we saw them at, Neo was doing the calling. I don't know if that's still the case or not. But
Taz calls now.
Oh, so Taz, they have changed it again. Yeah. So Neo was in a real good run of form. He was doing the calling. He was he was in charge of everything, and like people were saying, oh, he's playing really well. This is as well as he's played in a long time. So obviously that was something that he needed to help bring his level up. Now they've changed it again, and now Taz is back to calling. So this is a persistent thing that's always going to happen with Virtus.Pro. I think Taz can be a good caller. But I actually think Taz is better when he's freed up from having to worry about that stuff and can just concentrate on his own game personally.
Yeah. And then speaking of Taz, you and Taz made a bet. He basically said that by the end of 2015, Virtus.Pro would be the #1 money leading team, if you will.
That's the key thing. He didn't say most titles.
Yep.
It was money he wanted. So obviously, in saying that, he's confident that they're going to do well at the majors. I mean, they had a semi at the first major. Okay. Just having a semi doesn't mean
semi-final.
We all get excited. We all get excited, mate.
Oh,
We've all been there.
Oh,
Listen,
boy.
that's just a bump, guys. That's just the way my trousers
Yeah,
are. It's not a semi yet. This is a group stage still. So, yeah, anyway. No, so the thing is, they already got to the semi-final of the majors. So that's a decent chunk of change there. But the key thing was, what people kind of went under the radar a bit, is they won ESEA.
Yeah.
And ESEA was the 6th highest first prize we had in CSGO. So that was 70K onto the lot. And so I think at the moment, actually, I believe last time I checked, they're actually 2nd at the moment.
Okay, so he's right there.
But
is there a
lot of that's come from one tournament. You have to realize teams like Envious who've won a lot of tournaments, a lot of those are 20K tournaments. So I'm still liking my end of the bet.
Yeah.
Because remember, I don't need specific team. I don't need Fnatic to beat them or Envious. Just anyone.
Anybody.
Anyone not.
And what was the bet? He has to. Is it the Lord
He has
Thorin
to call
thing?
me Lord Thorin.
I like that. That's always your.
What I love about it is what it says about the Virtus.Pro guys as a team. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I think they understand exactly why they're in this game, and it's like, do you know what? When the big money's there, we'll go hard. If it isn't, maybe we take our foot off the pedal a little bit.
They are in this game to try really hard, entertain us, win some tournaments, and at the end call me Lord. I mean, I agree with that. That's pretty much what they're in this game for.
And again, if you look at
everyone is in many ways.
3 of their histories. I mean, there's probably no 1.6 players that got burned, got ripped off, got screwed out of money more than those 3, right? So
if we're filling, I could tell you a little anecdote along those lines.
Yeah, give me a little anecdote.
So the original Golden 5, the member that got kicked out their team, Luke, he supposedly, when he got kicked out, there's one famous prize person, like IEM or something, where they never got this money. And the story goes, Taz told this story on an episode of podcast, actually. He said that they kind of set that guy because he was out of the team. They said, listen, see if you can get that money, run it down. Like, and at the time, they couldn't have because it had gone through some defunct organizations. They thought, we're never going to get it back. And so, basically, they hear from the organization, like, oh, no, actually, we did. We got that money back, Yeah, we paid the amount to him. And they were like, really? He hasn't told us about this money. No. And then Taz says that he contacted me. He was like, listen, I heard that they've got the money back. And they were like, no. He was like, that didn't happen. And then one day, Taz was in his house, and he heard this motorbike pull out of house. Like, when he looked out the window, that guy was on the motorbike, and he just looked up at Taz like, hello, and then just rode off on a Harley Davidson. And that's where the prize money went. So that's a bit of what the old Golden 5 was like.
Yeah, I mean, they got burned a lot. All right, thank you, gentlemen. It is time to get into this first map. And this time, it's Casual Friday down at the caster area. Chewy and DDK, I don't know where your jackets are, but take it away.
Thanks, Scott. Indeed, we're really cash over here. Yes, you had a jacket.
I did have a jacket on, but
discarded it now.
The heat. I was getting so ready for this game and getting heated up for it that unfortunately I had to take it off. And I thought I'd matched you. That's the other reason as well.
We got similar colours here, the light blue.
Yeah, no, it's not bad. It's all right. You're looking much more dapper than me though, so it's fine. But anyway, on to the game. C9 versus Virtus.Pro. They've done a whole lot of filling and talking about it, but still I'm sure we can do a couple bit more just while they warm up and get ready into the server. Talking about knife rounds, C9 won that and decided to stick on the T side of cash. Any thoughts on that at all?
Well, the C9, I mean, maybe they just want to get warm. Maybe they're doing the NIP thing. Let's start on the left side, get warm. I'm not sure, to be honest, because in their position, I would always like to start on the stronger side, especially considering that Virtus.Pro do have like a really good T side. Just generally, Virtus.Pro are a very good team here. It's going to be incredibly difficult for them to actually topple them here. I would actually be surprised if Cloud9 actually take this map. I don't know how you feel about it, but
it was their pick, so they must feel confident in it in some form. But obviously, the guys behind the Gfinity desk did talk about the veto system earlier on, so make of that what you will. But it looks like we are live, finally ready to go on Cash, the first map in this best of 2 between VP and C9.
All right, so got quite a lot of traffic in middle here as Pasha and Taz are there. They're defending well. 2 frags, 3 there coming into play for Virtus.Pro, holding it down like heroes, but it's going to be Shroud that emerges after all the gunfire has ceased. And now we've got to take stock of the situation. 2 left here for Cloud9. One of which very low, now dead, thanks to Bialy, and that bomb is in a precarious position in the vents. So it's going to be very hard indeed for Sean Getz.
Yes, it most certainly will. And a great start for Virtus.Pro, taking the aggression to the terror side of Cloud9, and Bialy will confirm that final kill, giving the Polish side of Virtus.Pro the first round here. So that was an interesting one. I liked Virtus.Pro stats, but it just seemed like C9 kind of ran into the blender. They all came out mid one by one. That smoke was in the way, and the headshots rolled in. So let's see what Virtus.Pro going for. A couple of FAMASes to start things off, and a few SMGs as well. Cloud9 not really deciding to go for too much, but 5 P250s, I think, the name of the game for them here.
Yeah, indeed, just looking to make that money, make the bank, as Cloud9 are going to be rolling into the B bomb site, and not much of an investment from them. Only 2 flashes and some P250s, so going very light indeed, considering they didn't get the bomb planted. And here they come. Snax is ready and waiting behind the smoke as usual, and he gets 2 quick kills with that, making all the bank indeed. These SMGs really paying off, and that will be the round there for Virtus.Pro.
Only 1 casualty, Snax going down, but a good hold all the same. I like those little sneaky positions in those kind of rounds when you're on an anti-eco. Just changing it up a tiny bit, playing somewhere a bit different where maybe those T players who are trying to get into a bomb site, maybe get a bomb down to increase their economy, aren't going to check at times. So they'll reward themselves and upgrade a rifle onto Snax there. He's picked up an M4 now instead of an SMG in the last round. But C9 once again only going for a couple of pistols, buys. It looks like 4 P250s again and a Deagle this time on Shroud.
Yeah, they're already actually saving quite a lot of money,
yeah.
As opposed to what you would usually see. And interestingly as well, their pistol choice just rushing into mid is very, very uncommon, and it's pretty miraculous that Virtus.Pro had the 2 players in place to actually deal with that, because again, the setup there from Virtus.Pro was also pretty unconventional, having 2 players rushing down middle. You don't usually see that because you're kind of playing to the close range strengths of the Ts with those Glocks, so if they were to go middle. So yeah, very unconventional opening, but it is Virtus.Pro who are on the cleanup once again. Snax is taking no prisoners. Great triple there from the vent area, and that is exactly... Well, I think most people now think that the vent room, the vent area, sorry, is synonymous with the name Snax.
Oh, most certainly so. Bayali cleans up the last 2 kills, and that will be 3-0 for Virtus.Pro. Good start here from the Polish, and now we do see Cloud9 buy up, and this is what I've been wanting to see. We've actually got an AWP in the hands of Neo here, of course. We know that he can pick up the AWP as well if Pasha's not feeling it at times, and Skadoodle buying it instantly as soon as he's got the money to be able to do so, but going for the glass cannon option here. No armor for him, and he's already been tagged down to 36. That's not good.
That really hurts, doesn't it? And he opted to grab a smoke and a flash as well, so probably in lieu of actually being able to afford Kevlar potentially there, but I'll have to see if he's going to be able to pick anything up here. Virtus.Pro playing it quite defensively at the moment. They've got a really nice setup. They've got good tabs on middle. They've got a great response potentially on B, and Sean Gez isn't really forcing out any grenades towards the B area, but it's going to be Freakazoid trying to get an entry there. Gets denied, actually is going to get it onto Bialy, so Cloud9 working their way in towards A, but the bomb is actually down at the moment still.
Have a look at this position coming in. I think that's from Taz actually at the second. He's actually made his way into mid-main, and he could go on the flank here and do some good damage. On board with Snax though, as C9 look to make their entrance onto this A bomb site. Nothing, picks up another kill, and that will be that flanker of Taz down. So this is a very, very difficult situation here for Virtus.Pro. They've got 5 angry Cloud9 players trying to enter this site. Still coming in very slowly. 36 seconds left on the clock. Snax will find one, but doesn't pick up the kill. And, the analyst earlier on talked about Freakazoid and his entry fragging skill. That's a good way to introduce yourself here.
Yeah, definitely opening things up wonderfully there for Cloud9. And they took it very slow after getting those kills. They didn't rush themselves in. They waited to be able to come in together before they, made a move. So I really, really respect that kind of coordinated play there from Cloud9, where they're not rushing themselves and saying, oh no, we've got the pick, let's just go in right now, when they're not all together. And so they're going to pick one up straight away, which is important because now we can see Virtus.Pro going to be a little bit stretched on the money. We see the scout into the hands of Neo now. And this setup is a little bit more defensive here. They don't have a man in the vent area at the moment.
Well, have a look at the position from Pasha. He's actually just stationed himself right under the boost there over in mid. So he's in a very good spot. We can see him now on the screen. Just going to check if anybody could be pushing out aggressively, but still no picks as of yet. Slow start to round number 5 here on Cash. And they're just seeing what information they can find. Simple as that really at the minute. Spreading across the map you can see. But what do you think about this setup here from Virtus.Pro?
Well, right now it's again very strong across the board. Really, they've got all the information they need. They can respond quickly to B pushes, and they can hear, of course, anything that's going on in middle. But at the moment, Cloud9 very silent. They're not even forcing grenades out from Virtus.Pro by being a nuisance. They're just going to go for a contact play, just walking all the way in with the entire lineup, and that's going to really be strong if they get these fast frags. And there it is, first entry coming the way of nothing. Snax is down, and the bomb side is there. for Cloud9.
Neo, though, comes in big with 2 P250 kills before eventually getting dropped there by nothing, leaving things now in a 3 versus 2 situation, and what looked like a great start for Cloud9 entering this B-bomb site. Maybe a little bit of a difficult one to try and win out. The bomb will be planted. Sean Gers is in a bit of a tricky spot. He gets fully flashed there. I think he may have actually just seen Pasha through his side. Now he will, but Pasha picks up the kill, leaving nothing. The last one left alive. He gets one parting kill, but it will not be enough. And that was a really clean retake there by Virtus.Pro.
Absolutely, they lost 3 men, and Cloud9 need to get the bomb site down, down at least, which is nice. But of course, they are going to be reset a little bit, so they'll have some cash here to spend. But their bonus is completely gone. So when they lose this round, or if they lose this round, they have 1,900 bucks. So they will be looking at a pretty poor buy. So they really need to get the bomb down in this round if they want to keep the pressure on the economy of Virtus.Pro. And as we can see, it's quite flimsy at the moment. They spent everything, so they definitely need to keep that pressure up. So bomb down is a must. Now, how are they going to accomplish it? Looks like they want to get fast aggression into mid.
Yeah, we've seen them do this a couple of times now already to start things off, just trying to get some presence in over towards mid. Taz is going to be the initial man to try and find some information out and stop them as they boost themselves over, and he will see Shroud there, fully flashed, but taking some good damage. Pasha's here to back him up and see what work he can do with that M4 in hand. He picks up 1 kill. That's Shroud down for the count. Skadoodle with his first kill on the map gets 1 before being traded by Taz, leaving things down to 4 versus 3.
Sean Gers working B storage a little bit. He has been playing that lurking role, but it's Freakazoid to come in with a good kill onto the sandbag player. However, the trade is real there, thanks to Snacks, who has been showing quite some prowess with the AWP. But now Sean Gers and nothing are left, walking up middle slowly, trying to figure out what kind of options they have working in their favor. Well, they're going to go through the connector here towards CT. They're going to go for the B play here. Snacks always looking for this. There's the shot.
Wow. He's just so smart. This is what Snacks does time and time again. You just expect him to do these kind of things. Of course, as soon as I say that, Nothing takes his head off quickly. But still, this is a difficult position for Nothing. He's going to make his way up over towards that larger A bomb site here. But Bayali's fully aware of it, not messing around whatsoever. And that will be the 5th round on the board for Virtus.Pro. But again, going back to that AWP, it's good to see Snacks pick it up. It's just, another player on that Virtus.Pro roster who can pick up the big green gun.
Yeah, Snacks is, they've shifted him into that role in a lot of maps. And actually, we saw him in previous matches recently move more into kind of dedicated AWPing roles on even this map and not being the vent man as much, which was a shame to see. But we can see he's back as the vent guy here. Although this round, there is no AWP for Virtus.Pro. We'll have to see how things are going to be going for Cloud9. Now that they've failed to break the economy of Virtus.Pro, it's starting to look a little bit strained. They are going to go for this quick play into the A bomb site, though. Now, will Bialy be able to hold? There's one. There's the second one. Anyone else? Bialy says, and looks like they will spot the remainder of the lineup. So pretty easy cleanup here from Virtus.Pro. They didn't even lose a single man.
No, Taz left alive on 1 point of health, but all the same, all of Cloud9 dropped. 6th round on the board for Virtus.Pro. It's pretty simple there. They pushed through the smoke to Cloud9 and didn't manage to pick up any entry frags whatsoever with those measly little pistols in hand. And they will be able to buy up here. It's going to be 5 AK-47 is the name of the game. But of course, we know that term as being quite synonymous now, the Virtus Plow. And this is the thing, Cloud9 on this weaker side, which they did choose to stay on of cash. They can't let that Virtus Plow start to come into motion.
The second time Skadoodle gets nailed by that grenade.
Yeah.
Didn't get the Kevlar this time, so that helped out massively. But we have the old split and pick here from Cloud9. They've got players all across the map. However, the presence in B storage is very, very passive at the moment. And Freakazoid is just waiting to see if there's going to be that pop flash push for some info from Virtus.Pro. Now, it's starting to get later and later into the round, so this is kind of the timing where you might expect the CT side to start pop flashing into certain locations for info, and A main is a very popular location for that. But the set play on the A bomb site is brewing for Cloud9.
Yeah, we can see them setting up those smokes, getting ready to go, and they've got a heavy presence over towards that A bomb site. So Virtus.Pro still playing very defensively, not starting to push through B or anything and seeing what information they can find, but just staying and waiting for the Cloud9 players to make their entrance, and that's exactly what they will do. We've got the overhead shot now as they push their way through. Bialy completely flashed, will fall to the hands of Freakazoid. The entry fragger doing good work as he picks up his second kill onto Pasha there, and that's the start that Cloud9 needed.
In comes Taz and Snacks. They were hiding in the smoke, both of them.
Wow.
The sneakiest positions inside those smokes. Cloud9 had absolutely no idea where they were hiding, and it's going to be a 7-1 scoreline. And more critically, again, Cloud9 not getting the bomb down in a round where they really needed to be able to keep that pressure on Virtus.Pro. And you can see the money is starting to build. There's 2 players that have used all their reserves, but the rest are looking pretty healthy now. So, yeah, this is starting to look a little bit rough for Cloud9.
Most certainly is indeed, and we can see once again they're making their presence over towards the A main area initially. Down to pistols it will be once again here for the North American side. And Virtus.Pro are looking very good, even when left in a 3 versus 5 situation there. They held their own. They wouldn't let up any ground on that A-bomb site. They didn't even let C9 plant the bomb whatsoever, and Bialy will start things off onto Freakazoid, so that's the player with armor down here. In this 9th round, Pasha will pick up the 2nd kill onto nothing, and this should once again be a pretty easy cleanup here. No casualties as of yet for the Polish team, and Skadoodle will fall 8-1.
I would really like to see Cloud9 on some of these buy rounds where they have more of the split kind of split and pick kind of style going, to see more of a foray, more of a challenge into the B side of the map. It can be difficult, especially if Neo's on the ult, but he hasn't actually been showing that in recent rounds. They've just been going full rifle setup, which is quite interesting that they are choosing to do this when they have the money to buy it, actually. Something that they used to do many months ago, but has since fallen out of popularity. Virtus.Pro bringing the full rifle setups back in with no AWP on cash, and Neo's in a very forward position, and he does have Snacks by headshot, who can pop flash him in if he's able to hear anything. And Cloud9 looks like they're already gearing up for a B split play, but Virtus.Pro have excellent positions here.
Yeah, Neo, you said, in that advanced position, probably going to play quite a key role. And we see, I think that Snacks actually over to join him in the checkers area. We have seen Cloud9 get the bomb down over towards B, but it was retaken quite quickly by the Virtus.Pro squad. So maybe starting to initially try and see what information they could find over towards that smaller B bomb site. But now backing away once again, and still no players down. 53 seconds left on the clock, and Virtus.Pro are just happy with this setup. They've got good presence once again in mid. We can see Pasha pushed right up here next to Boost. And I still think Virtus.Pro have got great control of the map so far.
Yeah, this is looking very grim now, as we've got just 40 seconds left, and Skadoodle's trying to look for a way to open his team into the map, and finally the play has to come in to get map control, to get something working towards the bomb site. And we will see 1 frag in for Freakazoid, but across the map it's not looking so good. It's looking very, very poor indeed instead for Cloud9, who are just not getting these frags that they need. And now it's just Skadoodle left on his lonesome with the AWP. He has a free A bomb site, and he has to go for the plant. Only 15 seconds to play with before the CTs win by timeout. And here comes Neo swinging on by the side, and they should not ever lose this round, Virtus.Pro. Skadoodle picks up Snacks. He's going to have to perform the clutch of his life to win this one. Player from the front, player from the back. Neo's going to start the defuse, and we are going to have the round go to Virtus.Pro. So very, very. It seemed like Cloud9 could never figure out what they wanted to do in that round.
Well, we saw once again them starting to initially head over towards that B-bomb site, thought they may try and make their presence known over there, and then once again they backed away to mid, and the clock's ticking. The pressure is slowly but surely mounting towards them. And once again, I think we see this time and time again now, that we see the Freakazoid starting to get that entry frag and getting that initial kill, but then after that, Virtus.Pro respond instantly and pick up a couple of kills in their way, and that's it. And poor Freakazoid getting those entry frags isn't able to do much more. It'd be really cool to see also some kind of like set plays into middle. If they want to take middle, to actually set play into it, have a lot of set smokes, and also stuff like that they can do is like get the wall of smokes going if they want to go for this B splits. We're seeing a lot of very passive play from them. Passive play to the extent where they don't even try to bait out any grenades from their opponents, because often you'll see a lot of teams, they'll actually push B storage a little bit with a player like, I always reference Get Right. He's really good for NIP, just pushing B storage, forcing out grenades, even winning the duels. And sometimes if he gets into a nice position where he's like, hey, I can try to take this one-on-one, he'll actually take it. And even if he dies, it can often be a worthwhile gamble, because if he wins that fight, he puts his team in a position where the CTs are rotating, they get to actually move more readily into middle and actually create a play. But there's that kind of playmaking opportunity is not coming out from Cloud9, and they're not getting Freakazoid into positions enough, and they're relying on Skadoodle when they don't have, again, like any map control to work with to begin with. So that seems to be the struggle for them. I most certainly agree, and Virtus.Pro are just showing their dominance on this map. They certainly like this map, although it was C9's pick. We all know what damage Virtus.Pro can do on Cash, so not too long of a pause there, back straight into the action, and we do see once again Skadoodle picking up that AWP, so let's see what damage he can do with it. I think he's been a tiny bit quiet so far, if I'm quite honest, with the AWP, so hopefully he can start to improve and put some challenges in now towards that Virtus.Pro squad, and they've actually decided to go for an AWP themselves, once again on Snacks.
Absolutely, and this is what I would like to see again. Shroud making some noise, just getting some attention towards that door area, providing that presence, trying to force out some grenades, and even to force out a player to reposition to watch that door angle. Maybe that would allow someone to peek in from A main to try to give Cloud9 an opening here, because if they don't have these set plays, and we are going to see what looks to be a delayed middle take here potentially from them, which can be very strong to allow you into either an A or B finish. But it's going to be the reliance of Skadoodle once again. Can he pick something up here? It's a big question for his team.
Well, I think Virtus.Pro are aware that Skadoodle could be in this position, so we can see now just how passive they are initially taking this over towards this middle area. Taz going to be the initial person just up short to try and find something, but Neo's in that sneaky spot once again. Sean Gez is going to push his way through the smoke. No, he doesn't. He backs himself away once again, and Neo has no idea that he's there. Shroud will start things off. Skadoodle gets the second there. They've already made their way up towards that A bomb site, but Byali responds in the boost position, and, well, have a look at Cloud9 now. They've rotated themselves right back over towards B, but is this a mistake? Neo's there to stop them in his tracks, and we're left on a 2 versus 2.
So much damage coming out from Neo, just enough to make this a pretty decent situation. The time is against Cloud9 at the moment. They need to get that bomb planted, and immediately, thankfully, Nothing has a nade in hand to pick up Snacks and put Byali into a bit of an awkward position, as Skadoodle and Nothing are waiting for him now, that bomb ticking away. They've got decent enough positions here. Just have to play it by the book. As Byali scans, and he won't find anything. Skadoodle hits the shot, and he will claim the round for Cloud9. That makes it 2-9, and that's the round where they got into middle. And the thing is that they didn't use any grenades to do it. I would like to see them use more grenades to try to get into that middle area, because you can see in this scenario how much opportunity came from it.
Well, I personally pointed out that I was looking forward to seeing if Skadoodle could pick up his game with that AWP, and he delivered 3 kills in that last round for him. And now we see the AWP on the Virtus.Pro side actually switch to Neo once again, which isn't too much of a surprise. And talking about AWPs, he picks up the first kill of the round. Back and forth frag though. Oh wow, Cloud9 just absolutely running havoc here over towards B, and out of nowhere, top fragging Byali finds himself left alone in a 1 versus 3.
Excellent stuff there. Much faster pace there from Cloud9, and that did the job. Now, lots of money to play with still for Virtus.Pro, and enough at least, I believe, to get the buy-in. We'll have to see what they actually have. Actually, yeah, no, they're looking a little bit scarce now on the money, but they have enough to put something on the board. Of course, they're at a disadvantage. So we might see from Virtus.Pro now a little bit of risk-taking to try to even things up. They don't want to play a long round here. They want to try to get some info early, maybe find a way to push or get a quick opening frag. Cloud9, they should be keeping tabs on the money of their opponents and also the options of their opponents. So they might be wise to any quick aggressions.
Well, we saw Virtus.Pro at the start of the round actually play that 1-3-1 setup, initially just putting one player, which I think was Byali, with that 5-7 in hand over towards A3 in mid. Pasha still pushed up in that position, which we keep seeing him play in this match actually, over towards it. And then it was Neo over towards B, but Byali with one traded out straight away by Shroud onto Taz. And left on a 4 versus 4.
And Pasha's moved into middle as well to pick up the kill on Sean Gez, who was kind of lurking. And that's excellent now. That's going to put Virtus.Pro in a nice position. And Cloud9, they're forced to go in. They've got to make it happen right here. We need a big play to come in from Cloud9. Nothing in there. Freakazoid as well. 2-on-2 as the timer is ticking away. But they've got lots of time to play with. 45 seconds, in fact. Neo going to delay the plant as he goes in solo. Just creeping by the smoke, finds the first player, but Freakazoid will pick up the kill. 9-4 as Cloud9 pick up another round, and certainly things are starting to look much more respectable for the North American team. Yep,
they're picking up that momentum now. They've stopped the Virtus plow in its tracks temporarily. Anyway, at this stage, 3 rounds in a row for Cloud9, and this is much better. This is what we wanted to see from them, and Virtus.Pro for the first time will be forced down to only using those pistols. Byali and Snacks using deagles actually, so it will be interesting to see if they can pick up any sexy 1 deags. But Cloud9, I think if they can, get 5 or 6 rounds here, especially after the start that they had on this map, they'll be really happy with that T side.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a nice recovery, that's for sure. And They just have to make sure that nothing goes wrong here. As, there's no investment really from Virtus.Pro, just a Deeg, some PD50s, and well, 2 Deegs actually. But it's okay. Simple's not on the server, so they're safe for now. But they are just playing it cool and by the book, although they are very spread out. So this could be a recipe for disaster, considering Sean Gez is actually holding onto the bomb, and he's kind of on the outskirts of the map here. So if they did go for a push with the pistols, again, it could be troublesome here. It wouldn't be easy to trade with no one to support you. So definitely could have been exploitable. But Virtus.Pro, they're playing it slow and just waiting to receive a push.
Well, by the looks of things, we've got 3 players from Virtus.Pro over towards A. No presence in mid whatsoever now after initially going heavy towards there and trying to find what information they can. Skadoodle will start things off. That's Neo down for the count, leaving Snacks now the only one left alive on B. And Virtus.Pro aren't rotating whatsoever. They are not convinced that this is going to be a B push, but now when all havoc ensues, I'm sure they will be. Snacks going to be the man to try and stop what damage he can, but just through the side of the smoke. Sean Gez will take him down, and the bomb will easily get planted there now. So this should once again be another easy round for Cloud9 to take. No trouble there whatsoever. And 9-5 is the score now. That's 4 rounds in a row that Cloud9 have taken. This is what they wanted. Maybe this was why they chose to stick on that T side, so that they could, you know, get this less favoured side over and done with. And so far, actually, they've done not bad of a job of it. Yeah,
it's possible as well that in recent practice, of course, there's not a lot of data on these guys, to be honest, especially not against European teams. It's a pretty brand spanking new lineup, and you know, with Freakazoid and Skadoodle, a lot of hard hitters added to the team, and well, perhaps it's possible that they feel really good about their T side cash, potentially better than their CT side. So maybe to them they felt like it was a stronger way to start. As something that will definitely be a topic to if anyone's interviewing them. I just gave you a free question. Why did they choose a T side here? But 9-5 is the scoreline. They're going to go up against the last buy round for Virtus.Pro's CT side. Can they make it a good one?
Pasha has been able to pick up that scout now by the looks of things. And let's see what damage they can do. Skadoodle getting aggressive, and wow, through the smoke I think that was. He picked up the kill onto Taz there to start things off. He's woken up here, and this is exactly what we wanted to see. Snacks now once again changing his position. He's such a dynamic player on this map. He can pretty much play anywhere he wants and do some good damage. So he will knock a couple of players down. Pasha's come in with that scout though, and as soon as I call out Snacks, he does get dropped to the hands of Shroud with his AK-47. So left in the 4 versus 3. Pasha picks up his second kill though. Tagged down a 48 HP from himself. But once again, we see this bomb starting to favour over towards this smaller B-bomb site.
And there are 2 players in position here for Virtus.Pro as well. One up high, one down low. And Virtus.Pro will open things up with a defensive kill onto Freakazoid. Good stuff there from Neo. As Cloud9 are undeterred, they're going to push in regardless. Smoke gets dropped for CT as Nothing and Sean Gez try to force their way in, but they are also very cognizant of a potential flank here from the vent. So lots of pressure on Cloud9, but Sean Gez going to make life a little bit easier with that quick kill. And in comes Nothing, a kill over from headshot onto Neo. Just Biardi left. What can he pick up here? There's the first kill. He's down to 15 health. Bomb goes down for Nothing, and he'll get the kill. Great stuff there from Nothing. 9-6, Cloud9 definitely finish off with a recovery.
Oh, most certainly so. Let's have a look and see how many rounds they took in a row. It was 5, in fact, at the row there. So definitely started to wake up, showing what they could do. Skadoodle doing a good job. We can see Nothing leading on the frags there. 13-9, doing some good job. By Ali leading the way for Virtus.Pro. So overall, good half. I don't think, you know, either team will be too disappointed with that. Although Virtus.Pro, the fact that they just let C9 come back into that half with 5 rounds in a row, they won't be too happy in that aspect, of course. But credit to Cloud9, they didn't let their heads drop after they were 9-1 down. Yep. They picked their game back up, and it's great to see that they were doing work across the board for me. Skadoodle with that AWP. Nothing was picking up some big frags. Freakazoid starting to entry frag more. So, you know, good work from them, and let's see what they can do as we switch halves.
Yeah, they showed some adaptability there to their playing style to a good effect. And they definitely showed that they have a lot of skill to throw at Virtus.Pro. So they can create something from nothing in some of these spots. But here we are on the second half, and we are into the pistol now. We are seeing the A retake, the very standard to the meta, A retake play from Cloud9. Very safe. You can give the plant onto the A bomb site and then come in as 5. And at the moment, Virtus.Pro, they are just playing it really defensively.
Yeah, and again, we see the buy from Cloud9 here. Skadoodle picking up the defuse kit, a couple of players with armor, and then Sean Gez with some grenades to work with as well. So exactly as you said, just playing with that meta there of that A retake situation. But Virtus.Pro trying to scout out what information they could find as we head into this, of course, all-important pistol round in the second half. It looks like they're initially actually trying to see what mid-control they can get as they boost Biley up to the top, but Skadoodle, one tap into Pasha with that USP will start things off.
Yeah, usually middle can be kind of light, the defense from the CTs, that is. So I think Virtus.Pro, they wanted to get like a cheeky split up short and towards A by getting a player or two over the top, but actually, yeah, losing a player so quickly completely deterred them from doing that. Bialy's over the top though, despite all of this, and he's leading the charge for his team, but nothing by the sandbags. So sneaky. Oh no, has to hit the frags, and he only gets one. Skadoodle does clean up. He was there to support, so it is going the way of Cloud9. They're controlling the situation well, and it's just down to Snax and Neo as they go into the B-bomb site now.
Wow. Well, Snax will fall, leaving Neo the last one left alive. 1 versus 4 for this player. He hasn't got the bomb. He's only got 17 seconds to work with, and Shroud will confirm the final kill there. So great work from both Skadoodle and Shroud to pick up those kills. You talked about Skadoodle supporting Nothing there. Even though Nothing was in a really great spot behind those sandbags and was able to pick up 1 kill, the fact that Skadoodle instantly traded it when Nothing got taken down was obviously big. Another trade going in favor of Cloud9. Simple as that.
Indeed, and that puts it to 9-7, so that's exactly the start the North Americans needed. Now, we're going to have this awesome situation here for Virtus.Pro. They've actually opted to go for the full buy, and we're going to have some nades in, the Tech 9, single Tech 9, a bunch of PT50s and armor. There is the set play onto the A. Not much of a set play, but there's the smoke to cover for the plant, and that's all they needed. So now it's just about getting the damage done.
Well, they have got some damage done as Sean Gez will fall to the hands of Snax to start things off. Headshot with that P250 here. Skadoodle with the scout will try and find a player, and I think he did actually leg Snax down to 31 HP there. Snax still getting tagged up here as the retake situation comes in. The bomb is ticking, and only 1 player on this Cloud9 side does have a defuse kit. Let's see what damage they can do with the pistols. It's trading going on all across the place, and have a look at how low those Virtus.Pro players are coming in. But Neo on the flank picks up 2 huge kills with the P250, and now Skadoodle with all the work to do, but he's defusing the bomb. He pulls away from it. Will Neo pick up the kill? Left on only 2 points of health, the bomb will explode, and wow, Neo, that was incredible.
That was so sick as well, and there was still an opportunity for Skadoodle. If only he could have killed Skadoodle in the first, his opponent in the first, I think it was Neo, wasn't it? Yeah. He could have just killed him in like the first few seconds there, but he kind of got away twice, and then after the second line, he knew if he just survives now, it's over. So that's a really bad situation for Cloud9. They're back, they've reset, now they just got $1,400 for that loss. Double eco for them. So yeah, that really sucks, and Virtus.Pro should have a really strong economy going to the rest of this match. Now, it's all on the Cloud9 to get the damage done here. They have to get some kills on the board. They need to at least get 2 or 3 kills here. Moving in as a team there to retake A main. Beautiful stuff here from Cloud9. So that's 1 kill. Good portion of damage onto Snax and Neo, so maybe there is yet more damage to be done.
Well, they're actually pushing through A main now. We've got 2 more players. They initially got that information and picked up 1 kill onto Bialy there, but still they push through initially and then back away. We can see that Shroud should be aware of this play coming in, but oh well, Neo will shut him down there. And that will mean that Skadoodle, Nothing, the last 2 left alive, Nothing has been able to pick up an MP7, but it's very obvious to them exactly where Virtus.Pro are heading with this. And I mean, that last round, that eco round that Virtus.Pro won, that's one of those crucial rounds in a potentially close map like this that could really define the result between these 2 teams. It was such a crazy round and very well played by Neo.
And this is actually quite sick. They managed to get the bomb down thanks to Nothing, and they kind of smoke behind it, so they're just killing time. Bomb was picked up though by Neo, and he's going to escape the smoke, and they are going to get sprayed down. And that's Neo picking up $1,800 from that that Mag 10, so it kind of more than paid itself back actually. That's ridiculous, and we're gonna have to see if Virtus.Pro going to get how quickly they'll get the AWP into play. I wonder if that's going to happen on their T side. Of course, on their CT side, they opted really not to use it all that much at all, to be honest, which is kind of rare these days on Cash.
But it still worked for them. You know, they picked up 9 rounds pretty much on the trot without an AWP for a while. So they did do good damage with it, all the same, showing their adaptiveness on this Cash map. And wow, look at this boost from Shroud. This is what I like to see when teams run ecos, just changing it up, changing the pace up, doing something a bit unpredictable. And he's trying to find what information he can here. He's not initially found any players, but Pasha will find one as Nothing will fall fully flashed. Sees if he can find anybody else. Shroud still boosted up the top here, but obviously not going to be too dangerous.
He's actually looking at the angle as well. That's actually kind of next level stuff from Bialy there. I've never seen someone checking that angle that way. They must have heard it. They must have known that he was there. Surely there's no other reason why Bialy would be checking the angle like that. But it won't pay off, unfortunately, that mix-up. So 12-7 is now the score. It was looking really good. It was like 9-7, and then boom. We got wrecked by Tech9 Armor.
Well, this is what happens with Virtus.Pro. They can do this, you know, they can just pull these kind of rounds out of nowhere, it seems, and suddenly do that. And I didn't honestly, you know, even see Neo come up short on that round where he picked up those 2 kills. He was just suddenly there and picked up 2 kills. So it was just as surprise as it was for me, as it was to Cloud9, it seemed. But anyway, let's hope that Cloud9 can now bring it back, that they have got these rifles in hand once again. Skadoodle picking up that AWP, and let's see where he's playing with it, actually. We can see him right in that quad area over towards the A-bomb site. And again, the 1-3-1 setup coming in here. 3 people from the CT side in mid.
I'm kind of scared of Sean Gares' position. I mean, of course, they're not moving towards B, and that's where Sean Gares is at the moment, but he's actually alone in kind of an exposed position in front of the site. So that's kind of scary. Usually in this kind of a setup, you'd want your second AWPer on the B site and playing from further back. And you can play that super heavy 3 mid defense, and it's really strong. And here we go. The push is going to come in now from Virtus.Pro towards A, and Skadoodle's going to pick up the first frag. Can they deal with him, or will he get more frags to come? There's nothing in here. Trades back and forth. Skadoodle unable to do much here. Nowhere to really run or hide. And Virtus.Pro now in a 2-on-2.
It was a big kill by Shroud there to take down Pasha, and they found the information. Shroud with his second kill, actually, leaving now Snacks the last one left alive. And the bomb's actually in a really tricky spot. It's right on top of the T-red area, I think, and 30 seconds left to go. Snacks has left himself in a very tricky situation for what looked like a good A-take there from Virtus.Pro. We did, of course, see Skadoodle pick up that entry frag, but he's not actually been able to pick up that bomb. I think he could
actually jump from the plant spot to pick it up in midair, but he somehow got out of there, and it's going to be the plant.
U-take situation coming in. Shroud does have that diffuse kit, so they do have time to play with, but Snacks in a common position, knowing exactly where Shroud is coming from. He peeks out slightly, just shoulder peeks it, and they now know exactly where Snacks is, but Snacks has got to try and play the clock here.
He's running out of bullets as well. 7 left in the magazine. Can he make this work? He's baiting these players. There's 2 of them left. There's the first one. Shroud gets it done. And Sean Gares goes for the defuse. But thankfully, Shroud has a kit. He has the technology. And that bomb will be defused. So Cloud9, they stem the bleeding for the moment, but they can't have much money to be playing with into these rounds. Indeed, a bunch of them without much really to buy with, not a significant buy at least, but the AWP is going to be found on Skadoodle there and Sean Gares. So now they can maybe get that double AWP setup, the 1-3-1, which is really strong. We'll have to see how they play with that, and if Virtus.Pro, if they can scout that and then run the counter strat for it.
Have a look at where the 2 AWPs are going. So you talked about that 1-3-1. Sean Gares going over towards the A-bomb site. Quad once again, I think, actually. He's just sticking right on top of the A-bomb site. And then, as you said, that secondary AWP player, which is Skadoodle, over towards B, just on that headshot right on the edge of the bomb site. So exactly right. Good call there from you, good sir. And let's see if Cloud9 can start to bring this back in their favour, or whether Virtus.Pro will just edge themselves even closer to picking up the first map here on Cash before we head to Train, which is certainly going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to that.
So yeah, one of the reasons why this is a good setup is because you get quite a lot of info on mid. You have a strong defense on mid, something that gives the T's a lot of options if they're able to take it away from you. But also you have good potential to retake as a team, but the bomb will go down. That's kind of the major weakness. That set plays will pretty much guarantee get the bomb down on the A or B site. So far, it's very late into the round. Cloud9 have changed their setup. They're a little bit afraid of some of these timings, and Virtus.Pro have taken middle. Gearing up potentially to go for this B split here as Pasha dives through onto checkers, and things could get rough here unless Sean Gares is able to pick up these frags. Or is it Skadoodle now able to pick up these frags? It's going to go the way of nothing too for him. As Virtus.Pro make their way, and they're taking too much damage here. It's getting really, really bad for them.
They have got those smoke grenades down, but is it going to be enough? We can see that Taz is only left on 10 HP. They have been able to get the bomb down, and Pasha right on the edge of the smoke will get caught out. Freakazoid picks up 2 in a matter of seconds. Now leaving Snacks the last one left alive. That's 1. Will he get any more? The bomb is ticking down, and they're swarming over towards this B-bomb site. Shroud will pick up the final kill once again here. And I thought that looked good for Virtus.Pro because we saw Cloud9 initially take good mid control with that 1-3-1 setup that we pointed out. Then they managed to force Shroud out of vents, I think that was, and push him back. Then they took mid control themselves and entered the site and started to pick up a few kills, but you know, nothing picked up 2 huge kills on that B-bomb site.
All about nothing in that round, absolutely. without, as you say, Virtus.Pro did everything right there. They managed to take away mid control without really losing much in the way of resources for it. It was Cloud9 that had to reposition, and then they just couldn't get the entries. So great play from nothing. And they're still running that double AWP setup, something that Virtus.Pro will be wise to now. So have to see how they want to handle it. They have 3 players in B storage for some early pressure. Now, they don't have to commit to a B play with this. Still early days, but will Cloud9 react appropriately? Oh my goodness!
Grenade, that is the best timing I think I've seen on a HE grenade in a while.
He dived on that one to save his family or something.
Yeah, that was incredible. I think it was a failed smoke grenade actually maybe coming out there from VP. I think they wanted to try and aim it over towards a CT area and it bounced back off them. I'm not too sure though, but Freakazoid now playing where Nothing did some great work earlier on. And have a look at this. We now see Virtus.Pro backing away. They get those grenades in there, try and make their presence known, and now they're going for an A split. We've got Taz coming up through A main. They've made their presence known in mid once again, and this is much better. Skadoodle in a crucial place. He's actually been smoked off initially from that A main position. Boosts himself on top and does pick up 1 kill there onto Snacks. Will he get any more? We're left in a 4 versus 4.
Such nice play there from Skadoodle, but it won't be nice enough to prevent that bomb from getting planted. And the problem is that they're not attacking from varied enough positions. They're all kind of just huddled up by the car at the moment. They're going to have 1 player coming through the connector into middle, up short. But Skadoodle's got to get something done here with that AWP. He's already taken 1 frag, but they are not peeking. And Pasha comes in from the back to execute Sean Gers. The leader of the team is now down. Shroud is trying to get done what he can. He's just going to save the AWP, but Pasha's got other ideas. And one thing I have to throw props to Virtus.Pro there, because they took down Nothing with that initial play towards B. They got some damage in. This is something that I was talking about when Cloud9 were on their T side that I would have liked to have seen. They got the pressure in there. They even got a frag out of it. And then like, hey, you guys have to rotate now. What does that mean? Well, it probably means that your mid defense is going to be weak. Because if you put players there, you're kind of gambling. So we still got 5. We can take mid now. So really smart play from Virtus.Pro.
And they will punish the North Americans as we go into round number 23. Pistols once again here for Cloud9. This is the thing on the CT side. We all know that the economy is more expensive on the CT side, so it's a difficult one for them. Even though they've picked up some good rounds so far, it's not been quite enough. The grenade will roll in, but, well, Shroud actually on 1 point of health there. We can see Snacks is aware of this position. He's going to try and force out that player. Freakazoid comes through, and even whilst fully flashed, Snacks will pick up that kill. Burnt down to a crisp goes Shroud. He's dropped, and this looks like it could be a potentially very easy round here for Virtus.Pro, just extending their lead to 14 rounds. And, I mean, what have Cloud9 got to do to try and bring this back in their favour?
Well, they first of all need to get the money going. And the thing is that their 1-3-1 setup wasn't going poorly, but they got to show adaptability now and show the ability to play with the rifle setup. Firstly, because Virtus.Pro have clearly shown that they understand how to deal with what they were throwing at them previously, but also because running top 2 AWPs is too costly for them at this point in time. They need to get more efficient, cost-efficient rounds going for them, and the rifles is the way to play that. And you know, we saw Virtus.Pro able to show us exactly how that's done. So Cloud9 just need to more or less repeat what Virtus.Pro are doing and throw in some aggressions there as well. Take control, make a play for B storage with some rifles. Use the speed that the rifles can give you together. Take B storage, leave a guy in there. Same thing with A main. These are the kinds of plays that Cloud9 haven't shown to Virtus.Pro just yet, and it's the kind of pace mix-up that could also be something that Virtus.Pro could be caught off guard by. I think at times with Cloud9, some of the rounds that they've been able to pick up have been because of that unpredictability. When they just change something around and they do something a bit unorthodox to what Virtus.Pro may expect, they pick up a few rounds off of that, as we saw on their T side earlier on. They are going to see what damage they can do here. Nothing actually going for that scout by Skadoodle, going for the glass cannon once again, and Freakazoid's only down onto a FAMAS. Only 1 player, well, 2 players, sorry, I do apologise, with head armor, Shroud, and Nothing that will be. But Virtus.Pro only 2 rounds away from taking map number 1, which, as we spotted out earlier on, is Cloud9's pick before we head over towards Train. This is a crucial round here, obviously, for Cloud9. Yeah, and the one problem for them, I mean, they're running the same kind of setup as they had with the AWPs, but the weakness in this setup is actually if B gets hit and they don't get any damage when the players split from middle. Now, that's why they have to have mid presence here. That's why they have to do damage here, because once the players get into B, it can be very, very difficult once the smokes go down to actually retake it and stop the bomb from being planted. So Cloud9, They need to get the damage done here. Shroud is in an incredibly important position. He's actually going to fall back, which I kind of like. They're giving middle away to Virtus.Pro at this point. 40 seconds left in this round, and we see all the kind of set grenades come into all the spots that could be troublesome from Virtus.Pro, but they're setting up for the A split right now. Can they make it a good one? Cloud9 in position.
They've got a great read on this to Cloud9 by the looks of things, starting to rotate those players over. It's a very, very heavy presence. They know they've given that mid control, but they're not looking over towards short, as Neo will pick off one, and that's a crucial mistake. Sean Gers trying to make up for their errors, but will it be enough? He gets 2, and now leaving Skadoodle and Shroud, the last 2 left alive here. And this is the thing, if Cloud9 gave up mid control like that, there was no people actually watching short in case Virtus.Pro came up that area towards A, which is in fact what they did.
At least Sean Gers gave them a hope.
Yeah.
A chance. Picking up those 2 kills. Very nice by him. Very clutch by him. There's a great shot by Skadoodle. Can he get the no-scope? Yes, he can! Skadoodle! He could just do it now. Just Snacks left over with that bomb ticking away. Now he doesn't have a kit. And unless there's one nearby, he's going to be in a lot of trouble right now because Virtus.Pro Snacks, he knows exactly how to play this, and that is an awkward no-scope to attempt, but will not connect. So close. And as you said, incredibly important round. Look at the economy for Cloud9. It is decimated.
Virtus.Pro in a very good spot to take this first map here on Cash and at least secure 1 point in this best of 2 series. Of course, you know, the point system being if you win a map, you get 1 point. If you win both maps in the best of 2 series, you get both points and then an extra point for winning the series, so 3 overall. Virtus.Pro will be very happy with this first result here on Cash. It'll be very interesting to see how Train goes. I'm very excited about that one, as I have said, but Wiley starts things off that Shroud down for the count, and will that be the last time we see him on this map? We will find out.
Alright, so this is a very precarious position to say the least. For Cloud9, they've got a lot of Virtus.Pro players pushing into B slowly but surely. They felt this push. They've already pushed A main, so they know that this is coming. They just have to hold, and with such an inferior selection of weapons, it's going to be a task and a half as nothing comes in from the vent. Just charging in, gets the headshot. Oh my goodness, what a shot there from nothing. Picks up the AK-47 and another frag to boot. This man is going huge for his team, but there's still so much work to be done in this 2-on-2. Sean Gers has got to come out huge now. Nothing's done. A lot of work. Sean Gers needs to close. He's got 2 players to play against. There it is, Bialy. 16-9 will be the score as Virtus.Pro stand large and in charge.
Nothing really did stand out for his team now. We can just see it on the scoreboard. 24 frags to him, but it wasn't quite enough. Virtus.Pro all round playing very, very well indeed, and they just in a way outclassed Cloud9. Great, you know, great work from them. And of course, this is the first time that we have seen this team facing up against Virtus.Pro with this new lineup and everything. And you know, going back to the last Gfinity Spring Masters, even Virtus.Pro had a stand, and they had Mihu playing in his place of Snacks, I do believe it was. So it's great to see these 2 teams actually playing now with their full roster here at Gfinity, because we weren't lucky enough to see it quite that way with that stand-in for Virtus.Pro last time, but still Virtus.Pro did take it 2-0. But I mean, on Cash, you know, what have you got to say about that map? Because it was an interesting one at times. It looked very close.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is Virtus.Pro just incredibly solid there. The cool thing about the Cash that we saw was just how they were playing it with the almost pure rifle setup. And, and again, it's not super common to actually see that. I think we saw Neo using an AWP maybe like twice or something, and that used to be so common on Cash. If you go back like 6 months or something, you know, we had you know, Titan basically throwing the double AWP style in there. I mean, they even stated, hey, you know, it's kind of a high-risk play, but it's something that wasn't easily figured out. Everyone knows that set plays kind of work, but with so many world-class AWPers, and let's not forget that you got Pasha. He's a world-class AWPer. You got Neo's really a really good AWPer as well, and Snacks has been showing amazing AWP skills also. So it's not for the lack of AWP skills. It's just to keep the opponents guessing and to stay ahead of the meta game, really. So lovely to see how solid Virtus.Pro are, and that's kind of what I expected from them on Cash. They're just so good at Cash.
I couldn't agree with you more. Just the fact that, as you pointed out yourself, that they have got so many players who are so great with the AWP, and yet still, even with just rifles in hand, they can do so much considerable damage on a team who picked this map, albeit Cloud9, of course. It's still great to see them do that. I personally really love the way Snacks played that. We pointed him out at the start, the way that he was changing at times between that AWP and the AWP and the M4 even, but also his positioning on the map. We saw him times playing in Vent's area. We saw him playing quad on A and things like that. And that's just what Snax can do on Cash. He's one of those players who can do that. And that helps the rest of his team out as well, of course, knowing that they've got a player like Snax who can do such damage like that. They're a powerhouse team. They showed us what damage they can do on Cash. And I'm really excited to see if they can do the same on Train, or whether Cloud9 will somehow take the map, which is, of course, always possible.
Yeah, I mean, to talk about Cloud9 a little bit, again, we've got to give them the fact, just the benefit of the doubt being a new lineup, essentially. They just added 2 new players, Freakazoid and Skadoodle. So we can obviously see that Freakazoid is definitely coming into play as the role of entry fragger is looking a damn good fit for him. And Skadoodle with the AWP as well. We can see just how solid he is with the AWP. So it does give me a lot of I'm getting like a lot of good vibes from their lineup, actually, that they could fit together much better than some of the past iterations. I think Richard Lewis actually pointed that out as well. Like, it does feel like the best iteration we've seen in Cloud9.
Yeah.
But just going back to Virtus.Pro very quickly, I did like the calling from Taz on the T side, actually. He made a lot of really good calls. But we do have some very smart people that can give us some more in-depth analysis on that. So I'm going to throw it over to the Gfinity desk. Over to you guys.
Well, welcome back.
All right,
I was
mate.
practicing my shooter McGavin. All right. So I think one of the coolest things about that, obviously, Virtus.Pro wins. No brainer.
That was cool.
No, I'm getting to the coolest thing. Okay. I obviously want to give credit where credit's due, but we always talk about nothing. And we talk about Jordan a lot. But Jordan is the guy that has to at least step up to start the process of that team being rock solid. And again, they fell short, but Jordan was the one that had computer issues. Really didn't get much warm-up time because, again, they kept messing with his PCs. But again, came out and did at least what he has to do with this roster.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think it was a bit awkward because they got off to such a bad start, Cloud9, that really, even when they did come back into the game, it was like Virtus.Pro could sort of just cruise to victory at that juncture. I think it was 9-1 or something at one point, or I certainly went to 8-1. And once you've got to that stage, even though the score, finished the way it did, I think it was 9-6 at half time. You're like, okay, we're back in this. But you're talking about Virtus.Pro, do have a very strong T side on Cash in particular. So they just, in the end, hadn't really got in there. And there were fits and starts. You can sort of see the good parts of the team. Sorry, you can see when they start rolling out the big potatoes and Freakazoid's there, and he's getting his picks. And Skadoodle had some great little moments where they didn't win any rounds off them, but he made some very great shots. Some great shots and some good little groups of frags. But ultimately, Virtus.Pro were just a class above. And
I think we're going to use that category from now. We're going to say, instead of players to watch, it's going to be, who are going to be the big potatoes for you? Which big potatoes should they roll out in this game to win?
Big potatoes. All right, I can remember that.
No, the thing is, in this game, that was a bit deceptive the first half, because the way Cloud9 had that, they rallied back into it. They got 6 T rounds. You thought, okay, this is not bad, but it's Virtus.Pro. Against other teams, okay, you can work with that. But Virtus.Pro just had way too much on their T side. They're so good, and they got near to winning very early. It's not like it was going to go super long. In theory, if you get the 6 T round, okay, put up a solid CT half, and at least if you lose, it's going to be a 14-14 type game. You never got into that territory, actually. Virtus.Pro just outclassed them. And I actually felt kind of the opposite way to you when you were kind of mentioning nothing there, because the thing is, we know nothing's not going to have that many maps where he goes really crazy like this. So this was one where if just Skadoodle or Shroud have a really big game as well, that's probably enough. It pushes them over the edge to get the upset. So the fact that he really did come with his game, he put a lot out there, and those two guys kind of had okay games. They had 1 or 2 rounds that were good, but neither kind of joined him up there. Almost felt like a wasted effort from him again. This is this is the same map we saw this at Gfinity Spring Masters 1.
I was going to say, this is almost a history repeat.
He had the 50 frags and they lost that one as well. So
Yeah.
this is a problem, especially because actually when you look at it at the moment, this is currently his best map. He's doing really great on this, but the rest of the team, something lacks there, and it's on the CT side.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's going to be interesting to see, because when we were talking about predictions, I definitely had Cash going to Virtus.Pro anyway. I think most people would agree with that. I think we were pretty much unanimous. What I'm intrigued about is this Train matchup that's coming.
You have to feel like, right, remember how we set this up, the context, that for C9, this was a chance to at least win a map. Maybe not the series, but a map at least. You can get a map off Virtus.Pro.
Yeah.
So they really need to get this map, because if they go down 0-2 now, then that makes their task when they play Titan, when they play Envious, quite mammoth, because now just getting one map off Titan probably isn't enough. You probably need to win one of those series. So just to even get this other one here, remember, if you just win this one, to some degree, it makes up for a lot of the problems on the first one. You still get a point at least, and you take a point from them, so they're not getting too far ahead of you.
But here's what I'm intrigued about, just how much, Cloud9 have already played Train already this tournament, and is this something is this the ace up the sleeve? Is this something that they've been working on? Do they actually have these incredible Train strats? Like, Virtus.Pro have let this through, and I think that's about confidence combined with not wanting to play a couple of other maps. They've eliminated some very open maps that you would fancy Virtus.Pro would be pretty good on, but for whatever reason they've decided we don't want to play Dust 2, we don't want to play Inferno, but we'll happily take Train.
The thing
now,
is,
that's a gamble, I think.
For Cloud9, it feels like that's also why they have to do at least well on Train here, to at least put it into the other team's minds that it might be Train again. But even though VP picked it, in terms of letting it be open, because, okay, Cash, that's the one that these guys chose to play, but you have to understand everyone in this group's a Cash team.
Yeah.
Envious love Cash, Titan like Cash. So if those teams aren't worried about Cash now, they're not going to be banning it against the Cloud9 guys go. So they need another map. If they can get Trey, if they can at least show something on this map, and if they can win it, obviously, then some of these other teams, like Titan, for example, might be scared and they'll ban Trey away.
It opens up other possibilities.
Gives them a chance at least.
So I think we need to really see how this pans out before we can gauge. Are Cloud9 super prepared on Train? Is this an ace up the sleeve, or were they just lucky because they were playing the Australians on it?
Yeah, and I don't think you can look at that 16-2 and go, oh, this is Cloud9. Because even talking to Stunna, because I was asking about the map picks and all this stuff, and he was like, yeah, it's Train, and we did great against Immunity, but Virtus.Pro and Immunity not the same. So, they're not being idiots and thinking, oh, well, we did great, we're going to roll.
I can't imagine. It doesn't ring true to me that if you were to say to me now, oh, Rich, I was talking to Virtus.Pro, and you know what? They've been working really hard on Train. I just wouldn't believe you. I'd be like, they're trolling you. Because they're not that kind of team.
Yeah, but they are that kind of team, because aren't they the team that, really learned Overpass quick? And, they were the first team that kind of got ahead on Overpass. They didn't hold on to it for very long, but it seemed like Taz did take those maps and went for it a little bit.
They have at times picked maps, and now they're doing it on Cobblestone, where they try to get a little edge themselves. But part of the reason for that is I think they were sort of forced into that, because they had so many series in a row where they'd lose to an IP, they'd lose to LDLC, they'd lose to Fnatic, and they weren't, it's not just that they were one big series away from winning a tournament, they were going to have to win 2 big series to win one, and all these teams were beating them. So the fact that this elite guard was above them, and always getting past them no matter what it took, meant that they were kind of forced to say, right, we can't play the default maps anymore, because they were the guys who had just the 3 maps that they always went to over and over. Cash, Inferno, Mirage, want to play all these maps, but those are the maps where if you play those against teams like Envious, against an IP to a degree, Fnatic definitely, you're going to get murdered if you play those. So they had to bring something else in. So I think that forced them onto it. My question now is, have they felt the same impetus on a map like Train, a brand new map coming? Especially because here's the downside for them. They were one of the teams who actually, to some degree, didn't mind playing Nuke every now and then if it was a team they thought wasn't good on it. They'd leave it open and gamble. So that's actually taken a trick from
they had that ridiculous comeback.
But I mean, that's taken a trick card they had out, because the thing is, they didn't have to pick it, but they could leave it open, knowing teams that don't play it have to ban it then. So they get a free ban in the system there. So at the moment, unless they can prove they're good on Train, that's actually going to weaken them a little bit in terms of map pool strength.
And equally, they've got it in the locker, that they're super good on Cash, which we know they can beat anyone on Cash on the day. But Mirage is in the locker as well. I mean, nobody will want to play Virtus.Pro on Mirage either. So have they put work into Train? I guess we're going to find out.
And we are going to find out. The players are ready. The casters are ready. So once again, take it away, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. All right, we're going to be back into the match here. We have, of course, the Train coming up. And I've got to say, I really liked Thorin's point there. I mean, although I am surprised that they, Virtus.Pro would pick this map, because it does feel like the one map where stuff could go bad. It kind of like Nuke, because it at the moment it seems very CT-sided. Generally speaking, I guess we will get to see more Cloud9 potentially if they do win the 9th round start on the CT side. We could actually see them getting more options going to this tournament, because the map pool being generally weaker tends to be the issue for the North American teams, understandably so. So it's would be nice to see if they have that option going for them into this match.
I said various times in that last map that I was really excited to see how both of them played on this map. I've never actually casted Train before, so it should be an interesting one one, and you said that you've not casted the new version of Train before, so it's, it's a new experience for all of us, and I'm sure it will be for people at home as well between the two. And I guess it's difficult to call any predictions between these two. I don't want to call predictions down to the wire, but yeah, I still think VP are going to take it. I'm not going to give a score prediction or ask a score prediction from you at all, but Cloud9 are looking good, but we were talking about it there whilst we had a bit of a break. We definitely think that this team have got that potential to do some good damage as a squad, but this is their first LAN event, really. They're coming in against Virtus.Pro, who are just a powerhouse squad, as we've said before, so it is going to be difficult, but if there's a map to do it on, this is probably it.
Yeah, I mean, again, this map is kind of a little bit newer, and it's much more likely Virtus.Pro will have more experience on it. As has been alluded to the entire weekend, there's not a huge amount of knowledge that's been shared on this map so far. We've Anders' videos, of course. Thank you, Anders.
Of course, the famous Anders videos. I love those things. They're great.
It's a lovely day, Anders.
I think the first time that it was played in a competitive match after that, he tweeted out saying, "Did they use my smokes? Did they use my?" Right. It was instantly. He wasn't able to watch the game, so he instantly just tweeted out asking people if they knew whether they were using his strats and smokes and everything. So that was quite funny. I did enjoy that, and it's great to see people contributing like that.
It's very important too, because the kind of smoke game, the set play game, is hugely important. It was also on the previous iterations of this map. Of course, a lot has changed, but the ability to just cut off the bomb site with smokes does create some very interesting situations, and every team has to have that in their arsenal. Their repertoire has to be full of these set plays with the smokes. So it's going to be very interesting to see if the new meta really does come into play with all the auto snipers and like 4 big sniper rifles basically.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a little bit.
Well, you would have thought, talking about how
crazy,
strong Virtus.Pro are with those sniper rifles that we talked about so much earlier on, you never know what sort of thing they can pull out here. I was watching it the other day, and I think I saw an auto sniper in round 5 or so of a game, which you don't altogether see too often on most maps. But this is Train, man. It's something new. It's something different. I'm looking forward to seeing what can happen, and we're almost ready to go. It looks like everybody is in the server and ready. So, Dan, I mean, Train, what sort of things can we be expecting, do you reckon, from both of these teams on these two maps? Obviously, it is new, but knowing the teams and knowing a bit about the map yourself, what kind of things do you reckon we can predict playing style from these two here?
Well, I mean, as far as the T side goes, we're going to see lots of aggression, because Virtus.Pro and Cloud9 are both teams that can find edges in aggression. So a lot of it's going to come down to just how the yard actually plays. Yeah. So we're going to have a restart of the knife round, actually, because a PC crashed, which is good news for whoever lost the knife round.
Virtus.Pro.
Okay, because I don't pay attention to knife rounds.
No, that's fine. I don't cast. I think it should be a rule in CS that you don't play-by-play knife rounds. I don't know why. I'm just not a fan of it. But
it's kind of weird. It's awkward and weird.
Yeah, it is. I don't know why, but hey, it is. But yes, they are starting the knife round once again because there was a PC crash. So we'll see if Cloud9 pick it up again or not. But yeah, I like that. I'm looking forward to seeing the aggressive plays and seeing what happens. I personally, I don't know why, but I just really love the B-bomb site setup on this map. I love that kind of the upper area right on top of things and just the advances that you can get from there. But I was having a look at this map with Kyanite the other day, and we were just having a look at some of the spots in there. And of course, Valve, with the way that they've changed this map around, they've tried to introduce some new areas, so it's less difficult for the CTs to have so much of a dominance like they did in the previous utterance of this game. But I still think...
But it's kind of worse, guys. You kind of messed up there. Yeah. Because so far we've seen ridiculous, like, 14-1s
Exactly. There are
CT
still
side.
some weird spots which can work exactly the same. And it's things like, of course, on that upper area, on that B-bomb site, there's now that ladder there, and then the coils right next to it, so it's not a ramp, I believe it used to be, I think it was. So you can't just sit on the edge of there as a CT. So they've tried to do little things like that, but so far from what we've seen, it's not quite worked out to plan, but maybe it will this time. Who knows, eh?
And the good old T-Sky's been removed, which is sad.
Yes, it is.
The hell area T-Sky. It's gone. It's RIP. Rest in peace. That was my favourite spot. It's gone.
It was.
Can't go into the trains anymore. It's gone.
Are you salty about that?
I'm really salty, yeah.
You actually?
Super salty. Sodium everywhere.
Gaben, why you do this?
That's why we're in a cinema. I can dispense all the sodium for all the popcorn. It's actually quite a cool setup. You guys have obviously seen it.
It's so good here.
Yeah, I haven't seen a setup like this before because it's my first time going to a Gfinity, but it's pretty awesome. And of course, because it's like a cinema, Henry G was making the point earlier that people tend to kind of like be a little bit quiet because they're kind of conditioned because it's a cinema. So, but they can actually go nuts in there.
It's true. It's very true. I've got a friend actually who's usually very, very, very loud online. As soon as he came here, he was just as quiet as a mouse. And it's just because, as you say, that conditioning of being in a cinema atmosphere. Whilst for us as casters, we can't really do that. Exactly. You don't want to be that. But it's great coming down and watching a CS. Sitting there with your popcorn and your massive Coke on the side in the cup holder and everything like that, watching some CS on a huge screen. Of course, you know, the projectors, I dread to think how much they cost. They're pretty darn expensive, so they've got great video quality here, and we've got all the clever lighting and everything. So apparently, we've just been told by production that they're $250,000 each, the projectors.
That's
so
a bit overpriced.
Certainly worth it, yes.
But we're into the pistol.
We're live, here we go.
All right, ladies and gents, get hyped. Map 2 between Virtus.Pro and Cloud9 here on train for the Gfinity Masters. And already, Cloud9 have ferried their way down into the inner area on this B bomb site. And they are looking for a fast execute, fast plant. That nade's going to miss everyone.
Talked about that aggression, and that's what's come out here, but Virtus.Pro get 3 in a row. Freakazoid does respond onto Taz initially, but will it do much dividends here? We will see. Freakazoid tries to find Pasha there, but it's not going to happen. Once again, 2 quick kills from Neo and Pasha, and only 1 man down, which was Taz. And, well, even Skadoodle acknowledging what a great shot that was from Taz.
Yeah, they're very surprised, because that was pretty damn sick. Like 3 kills almost instantly there from Virtus.Pro. It is somewhat of a staple sometimes of Virtus.Pro that nothing happens until the first frag and then everyone's dead. But we're going to have the pistol armor coming in with some nades. So perhaps Cloud9 can get it done this time with some nades to aid them.
Taz peeking his way just there, put that smoke grenade down to try and prevent any initial rush coming in from Cloud9, which again you may expect with these pistols in hand, trying to get in the faces of Virtus.Pro and do some damage pretty quickly. And I actually like the way that he's starting to move his way, but have a look at this passive setup. They've got, I think that Snacks actually is over towards that Z connector area as well, just on that quick rotation, which is again another area which makes this a CT-sided map, just that quick rotation between both bomb sites. But just look at the information that Taz could potentially pick up here with this P90.
And they should expect this. They're going to hear the nades as well. So Taz is so ready to spray down anyone coming his way with the P90. There it is. Puts in the work. Snacks is going to help him out as well, but he will go down. So 2 players there, Freakazoid and Shroud. They need to get this bomb planted to make this worthwhile. And there it is. They get the bomb down. So any additional damage is definitely a bonus. Now, what can Shroud get done with the Deagle? It's definitely a masterful player when it comes to rocking the Deeg, but it's not going to be enough. Snacks sliding on top of the ladder to pick up the kill, and Virtus.Pro with round 2.
We actually saw nothing pick up a team kill there, I think it was, onto Skadoodle, as they suddenly found Taz up in that ramp over towards B, and all hell broke loose momentarily. But Virtus.Pro still holding on strong despite the bomb plant from Cloud9. And because they've got that bomb plant, they're deciding actually not to go for an early buy here. So they are just going to go for 4 P250s by the looks of things. Sean Gare's going with a couple of flashes and smoke grenades as well. But let's have a look at the setup from the CTs here. We've got a couple of players actually pushing down over towards Ivy by the looks of things. Nothing and Pasha very close.
All right, so it looks like they want to go for the same play, but this time Nothing is going to try to fake them out a little bit and just delay a rotation, maybe sow some seeds of doubt and despair, but I don't think much despair will be in store for Virtus.Pro as they are holding on to the bigger guns. We do have Taz ready to potentially spot in as well. He's got no support here on it, no one to really pop flash him in, so let's see if he's going to spot anything. And they have seen them play, seen the players move down towards the inner area now, and they're going to get the bomb planted. So good work here from Cloud9 as they burst through a connector with Sean Gares. He's taken care of, but in the meantime, mission accomplished there for Cloud9 again. Yeah,
Sean Gares was actually in a really crucial spot. The fact that he was just suddenly on top of A and they had no idea for a second, he picked up big kills, was very crucial indeed. Shroud will fall once again, so the bomb defuse will come in. But, you know, if Sean Gares had done more damage with that P250 lurking around and delayed Virtus.Pro rotating over as that bomb was planted by Cloud9, that really could have done even more damage than they did. But all the same, Cloud9 with only pistols in hand take down 3 players. That's, you know, Virtus.Pro players having to rebuy, and they get the bomb plant as well just to help out their economy.
Yeah, and again, they're getting all those buys in. They put a lot of damage onto the economy of Virtus.Pro by picking up some extra kills here. So now they're going to be in with a strong buy. And again, this is a map where getting a few rounds on the T side is all you need, because the CT side is so dominant. So Virtus.Pro, they have to establish the economy. They cannot lose this round. They need to get the money rolling on in. Now Skadoodle is here looking for that first kill to prevent that from happening.
Taz is actually going to be able to pick up the first kill onto Sean Gare. They're over towards that ramp area of B in white tunnels, and that's a very big kill indeed to try and find out some information. But just look at the spread of the T's of Cloud9 here all over the map at the second. And I thought it was interesting. We actually saw Skadoodle go for that AWP straight away in round 4 on Cash as well on the T side. So we'll see what damage he can do with it here. He started off cold with it and then really became hot at times. But, well, we talked about Anders smokes, and I think this is one of them that Skadoodle's potentially trying to line up, maybe, or Freakazoid is as well. So, Anders, if you are watching, they are using your video, good sir. I
think we should just credit every smoke to Anders.
Why not?
Just all of them.
Yeah.
For the rest of time.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. We got very slow play coming in from Cloud9, but the middle, or rather the yard take, will come into play. Oh, look at that. Shroud diving in on top of Neo over at Popdog. Going to be causing some problems here for Virtus.Pro as Bialy goes in to try to help out, but he's going to get dispatched as well by Shroud. So good job to him now as Taz climbs over the top of the train, trying to stop the plant from going down, and he couldn't do so. This is looking quite terrible now for Virtus.Pro. They need to save this somehow, but good positions are being found by Cloud9. And Skadoodle still alive at the electric box with that AWP.
I've got one kit in the hands of Snacks, who did pick up that kill onto nothing. So now the AWP going to try and do some damage. That's unlike Skadoodle. He misses and he gets punished for it. It's Shroud to save the day here for Cloud9. He's picked up 2 kills already in this round, I do believe. Knocked down to only 21 points of health. The defuse is coming in. And Taz finishes him off there. So that's the 4th round, and that's a shame because Cloud9 were in a great spot. And, I mean, it was
Skadoodle, man. Yeah. If he hits the shot, it's the round is won.
Exactly. And one thing there that was, I mean, I guess in a way, Bialy peeked through that side of the smoke, I think, on that A-bomb site and saw a player coming up from Popdog. And I liked it that he just wanted to get that trade frag initially and get there. But I wonder if, in a way, it was almost a bit too aggressive. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it was definitely a big risk. I think it was just one of those spots where he wants to just eliminate the player as he's coming through a choke point and get the fast frag through the smoke and then fall back because he has that smoke to cover himself. And then they can slow down the push. But then you're in a spot where the bomb's getting planted behind the smoke and it's really hard to deal with. But we'll come back to that thought later because the push is coming into Yard, and Bialy this time, with the help of Pasha, is going to be able to close off these entrances. But Cloud9 springing back into action. Great stuff from them.
We'll have a look at the position from Taz coming in. He's right on the flank by the looks of things, coming in through white tunnels. We can now see him flashing his way into Popdog. He's smoked off at the second, but the bomb hasn't gone down. Snack doing great damage. Only gets 1 kill though. Skadoodle will pick him back up. Skadoodle now left on only 1 point of health. This is a tricky spot for him. Nothing. He did so much great damage earlier on Cash. Let's see if he can try and repeat that feat here. 52 seconds left on the clock. He fires the air, but Neo turns and gets the kill, and that's a gunfight he could not afford to lose.
Yeah, he had the element of surprise and everything. They were still like so worried about Skadoodle because Skadoodle didn't die. I thought that 1 HP scenario where he just survived somehow would have been the saving grace there for Cloud9, but nothing, didn't get the surprise frag, and it's 5-0. So we're seeing Virtus.Pro start to build that money and kind of get out of that danger zone. They can take losses and still get the big buys coming in with all those AWPs and so on. But Cloud9 with a much more passive approach, a slower rounds, not bursting out into middle immediately looking for the entries, but instead taking it a little bit slower before they go for the execute. Will it pay off this time? So far, so good.
I think Virtus.Pro realised that Cloud9 are really favouring this A-bomb site. So look at the attention that they're giving over towards there. And look at the information that Taz is once again able to pick up over towards B. He's pushed right through white tunnels. This is the 2nd round in a row we've seen him over towards this Popdog ladder area. Bialy's picking up kills at free will over towards Skadoodle. He drops down and he's going to be able to completely uncontested pick up 2 kills there. Well, actually, Neo helped him out, but he did get the assist. And Sean Gares will fall in. That is a really great setup by Virtus.Pro. There's so much information gathered by just that one player. And this is the thing for Cloud9. Surely they should have sent a player over towards that white tunnels after Taz pushed through there in the last round to try and prevent it happening again.
It's one of those situations where it's absolutely fair enough for Cloud9 if they want to, -1 on nothing indeed, if they want to keep going for the A executes. But as you say, they have to find a way to actually just stop Taz by changing the timings, delaying them a lot more, pushing into the upper area a little bit, and then going for like a 1-minute timing or a 40-second timing into the A play. They have to keep the mix up there. They can hit A every time, but they've got to prevent the flank. Then it can be okay to go for that.
Well, he's initially trying to find out some more information. They're getting aggressive, and it's worked for him so far, and fair play to him.
Well, they could actually go back from this position, back into the execute, now that they've put the fear of God in Taz. So, looks like that's not going to happen, though. Got the push. Is arriving.
He spots the heads as they try and all drop through, but it's going to be 4 quick kills for Virtus.Pro here. Shroud once again with that Deagle in hand, trying to do some damage, but you know exactly where he is. Taz jumps up the ladder and takes him down in quick fashion, almost like Spider-Man, kind of just appearing out of nowhere and popping his head off. 7-0.
Okay, so yeah, I really would have liked to have seen, because I'm actually totally cool with Cloud9 to say, hey, you know what, we're just going to smoke up. Because the thing with the yard in this iteration of Train is that, if you have the smokes down, so much of it is kind of just like playing like the aim map, basically. You create a lot of cover with the smokes, you can gain a lot of ground. You just play the aim map. You just have to prevent, again, as we were saying, the player from basically flanking you or getting that fast information if he tries to do so. Like Taz is right now. Punish him, like take him down with a trade. Then you get a better scenario going into your eventual A play, or just delay it a lot. There's lots of ways to play with that kind of a strategy.
Oh, look at this beat coming in here from Neo. That's absolutely crucial. He only is able to pick up one before being traded out by Freakazoid. But once again, Virtus.Pro just changing things up, doing something different, taking the initiative and finding the information. And that's one of the AWPs down. I was going to point out that there was 3 AWPs on the field. Now there's only 2. But Cloud9, interestingly enough, going for that double AWP setup on the T side of Train here. It was interesting to see how they could utilize it. But Skadoodle down for the count here as Sean slowly makes his way down the ladder into Pop Dog here. Once again, that bomb favouring over towards A. It's all gone quiet on the Western Front again.
Absolutely. And Snack's going to spot 1 player, so that's the info now to his team. It is an AWPer as well, the only AWPer there in Sean Gares, as he is able to take down Snacks from a different angle altogether. Nothing going to take liberties now towards Ali, but he's not going to be able to pick up the frag or the positioning as he does get denied by Pasha. So looking quite okay for Virtus.Pro still. Good position from Biardi. He's going to be able to spot the first player. Misses the position for the smoker. That's massive. Freakazoid gets both kills, leaving it all on Taz, and Cloud9 look like they could potentially pick up their first round. And as Taz comes out huge, does get the sneaky kill onto Shroud. And is he going to go for the hold? He absolutely is.
He's got to stick it. What?
And there it is. Gets the round. Freakazoid with his 3 kill. It's not going to be doing all that much in the end there. And another round to Virtus.Pro. Stolen.
Pros don't fake. And that's a shame for Freakazoid, because he actually played that really well. So we spotted out, you know, putting himself in that 2 versus 1 situation, picking up 2 big headshot kills there to move the man advantage in their favour, but simply outplayed by Taz there. And this man is really on fire. Even if, you know, Taz is one of those players, again, that when he goes big, he goes big. He's one of those players that once you let him go, he's kind of like the main man behind the wheel, I think, of the Virtus plow. He's the one the driving force, in my opinion, at times, because once he gets going, it's very difficult to stop him.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have Sean Gares trying. He's actually able to get some damage onto Taz. 99 damage, in fact. 1 HP left for the in-game leader of Virtus.Pro at the moment, as they do allow their presence to be felt towards B. Now again, they're not really faking at all. They're just going to say, hey, we're just going to keep on pushing through. And the kills coming in from Taz, despite being on 1 HP, picks up 2 headshots as they are really concerned with Snacks, and that is the death of them.
How is Snacks not dead? He got caught on the side of a train and is still left alive on 22 points of health. Eventually Taz will fall, but he still did good damage, and that HE from Bialy will shut down Freakazoid's Skadoodle, and he picks up an M4 kill onto nothing to finish things off, and that's heartbreaking for Cloud9.
Yeah, it really is.
Knocking Taz down to 1 HP, not getting a kill on him, and then him picking up 2 entry frags as they make their way into B, not picking up the kill on Snacks, who got caught on the side of a train and couldn't even escape their bullet fire, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if Taz dies and isn't left on 1 HP, then of course the round is so different. Yeah. So different there as they got past Snacks. But here we have a very fast push and nice pre-nades in there from Virtus.Pro to pick up advantages into some of these aim duels, as Cloud9 are basically just flushing themselves out of these choke points, and Virtus.Pro really using that positioning to their advantage. And now it's just 2 men left here for Cloud9. Great stuff there from nothing, catching Pasha on the edge of the smoke. And Sean Gares working the other angle here, trying to push and receive these Virtus.Pro players. In goes Snacks.
Watching their angles, Sean Gers gets taken down from behind. And I think if they had been able to pick up this round, that would have been an absolutely crucial one. Of course, it is still alive, technically. Nothing picking up his second kill of the round. He's been very, very quiet so far on Train after a great performance on Cash earlier on. And it's going to be very difficult for him to do any work, and Taz will drop him. But if they had won that situation and taken that round somehow, which was obviously a very tricky one for them to do, that really could have been the start, once again, of bringing things back into play. We saw that they were 9-1 down on their T side of Cash and brought it back to 9-6. So we know that they can do it, but I'm afraid it's what we thought may happen on Train here. 10 rounds in a row for the CTs. And
every round on this map for CTs is insanely important, more so important than any other map, including Nuke at the moment with the current kind of scorelines we're seeing. So you cannot allow the T to get a single round, and that's what's happening so far. Taz has saved them in more than one occasion. Cloud9 taking it to Virtus.Pro with another fast round, but they are getting completely destroyed by the grenades. They can't get out of these choke points, and once again, Virtus.Pro stand tall.
Shroud will fall, leaving Skadoodle and Nothing, the last two left alive. Skadoodle dropped and Nothing left in a 1 versus 5. This would be a great way to bring it back in favour, but unfortunately it will not happen. Virtus.Pro now leading themselves with only 5 rounds to take not only this map on Train, but to take the series and to secure the 3 points. One thing that we've got to mention, of course, is that actually Cloud9 do already have 3 points on the board. They took their series against Immunity, which, of course, I guess you would expect them to do, but they won it really convincingly. I think it was 16-2, 16-6 overall, I believe, between those two earlier on. I'll get those confirmed later. But still, Cloud9, you know, they came into this series and they'd already won a series. Of course, a big difference between Immunity and Virtus.Pro, a lot of people would argue, but they've got to win on the board. That's a great way to start things. Virtus.Pro, this is their first game. They've not played yet today. They've been here all day, and this is the first time they've got behind the PCs on stage and got ready to play. But they're showing their class, I have to admit. Yeah,
I mean, the thing is that if Cloud9 are able to pick up even two rounds, then you can't really count them out of a Train, which is it's kind of ridiculous, but that's kind of how Train is at the moment. And they've clearly done some homework on here. They do have some grenades. They must have done at least some amount of preparation. But generally, the problem has been actually Taz. Not just because he's fragging, but because of the kinds of frags that he's getting
and the information that he's getting from it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like they haven't. Whenever they are pressuring in it, they always kind of go in it. They're not actually throwing off the opponents at all. Like there's all these spots where they could just take it, like most of the maps, take all the map control away from the CTs. We're seeing that Taz loves to get up into the inner area, up into the upper corridor, and as close to that pop dog ladder as he can. Yeah. If you just take that area away from him, even leave a guy there, and then go back for the A execute later, like something like this, very simple, could make all the difference. But they're kind of just going slowly towards B, showing their presence at B, then pushing into B. Yeah. And that's exactly how it's been. There's been no fakes at all, no bigger map controls at hand.
Well, we did have a pause initially, but luckily it wasn't a long one. And talking about Virtus.Pro and their great play, they've still got rifles in hand, obviously, with their great performance. And again, no AWPs, really. And this is, again, a really interesting point. It is going to be an eco, so well, there may not be too much interesting here. It would be great to see Cloud9 take an eco win on this round. But Virtus.Pro, we talked about how great they are with the sniper rifles. We talked about how prominent the sniper rifles can be on Train, and they're still going for you know, these M4s, which is fair enough because it's working.
Absolutely is. The spray comes in, but the Juan Deeg there from Shroud is going to take down Pasha. Now Shroud is a bit of an all-star there with the Deagle, but as you said, it's not super likely to see something happen from an eco around here for the T's, but we're going to have Neo moving in straight, well, just face to face, going to completely gut Skadoodle and Shroud as Bjarni picks up the last one. So 12-0, and we need to see some more dimensions to this T-side strategy from Cloud9.
It's one thing that I love about X-ray mode as a caster here is that we can see those kind of situations just in the side of smokes when they're just so close to each other.
So we can laugh at them.
Yeah, and they have no idea, and it's like, ha! We have more information than you initially. It's a funny one. But Skadoodle now going for the AWP, still a 5 rifle that's set up, and Virtus.Pro not yet to lose a single round on Train. They'd be most definitely impressive.
Oh wow, big push coming in on Ali there, something that Virtus.Pro haven't really shown, but this time lots of players towards Ali for the trades, and Cloud9, they do actually come out the winners there, and Snacks, oh no, he turns his back at the wrong moment. There's the kill for Sean Gers, and all of a sudden it looks doable now for Cloud9. Could this be the one that starts them on their path to another couple rounds? Well, Taz is still alive, so you got to wonder.
At this stage, you almost wonder whether a bit of luck on the Cloud9 side really wouldn't do them too much hard luck whatsoever. And Snax turning away, being able to pick up that kill there for Cloud9 was obviously a huge one indeed. Nothing will fall now. Taz, the man who's played so well on this map so far, is the one that you want left in a 1 versus 3 situation, but left on low points of health. Sean Gers will pick up the kill. And finally, we see a number on the board for Cloud9. That's their first round, but you've got to wonder in a way. I know this is a very, very, very CT-sided map, but have they left it too little too late?
I mean, one thing about that is that Virtus.Pro went with a play whereby if there's just one man from Cloud9 moving towards Ali, they get the kill and they back off with an advantage. However, Cloud9 invested a lot of players there, so that was actually kind of almost a counterplay to what Virtus.Pro did, but blindly. So Virtus.Pro gave them an opportunity there to get ahead early in the rounds. They haven't created that by themselves just yet, so it's hard to see them doing more work here. But Taz is going to go down, and that could be the start of something.
That's what Cloud9 needed to do in that area. You talked about it. You know, they get that flash grenade in there. They expected him to be there, and that's great information found in the entry frag on the top fragging player for Virtus.Pro. So, Neo, what? Did they just cross each other's paths there for a second? I thought they did. I was like, did I just see that correctly or not? Well,
I don't think he's playing 16-9. That's all I can tell you.
No, most certainly not. Well, it's a trade of frags as Neo will fall. Pasha responds on to nothing, though, fully flashed as Skadoodle picks up another kill. And finally, Cloud9 now showing some fighting form as Skadoodle picks up 2, leaving Pasha the last one left alive. He will fall. Obviously, their economy's great, so we didn't need to worry about saving there whatsoever. 2 rounds in a row here for Cloud9. Virtus.Pro able to buy it fully by the looks of things here in the last round of the half. And you've got to wonder, if Cloud9 take this last round and then take the pistol and convert off that, there is a chance, but it's a small chance, be it said. Virtus.Pro need 4 rounds.
And the auto sniper has come out.
It has.
To Pasha, the man with the biggest guns.
Well, Freakazoid's challenging that.
He is. And Skadoodle will win the battle of the sniper rifles here, and he's opening up once again. Cloud9 for a 3rd round in a row. Again, early round advantage. Skadoodle, he's going to push that to 2 kills now. 3 players left. Neo will silence him, but he's given Freakazoid an opening, and that's something he is going to take with open arms, as it is just Snax there to try to deal with him, but that's not going to work because the grenade is more than enough, and it's just down to Taz. So Cloud9 looking strong in this round, and Taz will be eliminated. 12-3, and it feels like Cloud9 had so much more to show, but they only just found it right at the closing moments of the first half.
It's kind of a shame in a way that we only saw them pick it up right at the end of the half, but I guess if there's a time to put those 3 rounds in a row, it could be at the end of the half there as they switch over towards that more favoured CT side now and can try and roll on from that momentum and keep it going. But I don't think we can, of course, really underestimate how important this next pistol round is going to be for them. If Virtus.Pro win that and can convert off it, it's almost GG's pretty much with the amount of rounds that they've got on the board. And, you know, you can see the scoreboard
It's basically over at that point.
Yeah, it is, exactly. You know, I don't think any crazy mathematician would really be needed to work that out. Even I can work that out with a horrible maths grade at school. But do you see a way back in this for Cloud9?
If they take the pistol round, absolutely. I mean, the thing is that it's a pretty CT-sided map, as we know. It's just going to come down to their individual skills being pretty hot and their standard setups just being pretty standard. Pretty hot as well. We saw that Virtus.Pro, they didn't really give up a round or an advantage until they tried to play aggressively, until they tried to play out of these setups where they're just sitting and waiting back for Cloud9. That said, Virtus.Pro did get some easier advantages just on the merit that Cloud9 weren't clearing the map effectively and allowing Taz to flank them and get all the information for free. That should not happen. No. That's something you don't see happen on most other maps that the pros play. And it's not a decision that's taken lightly. And Taz was like, hey, these guys, they're not paying attention right now. I'm going to abuse it.
It's exactly what I was going to say. He's got to abuse that, and fair play to him. But we are back live again with the pistol round of the second half. The last half between Virtus.Pro and Cloud9 in the group stages here of the Gfinity Spring Masters. Number 2, Skadoodle finding some good information initially there. Will throw that smoke grenade down and backs away from that, but he has been tagged down to 36.
And that smoke grenade actually doesn't help them all that much, but it's going to be Virtus.Pro straight on into the bomb site. Close ranges is what they want to play with, and that's what they've got. Great grenade there going in, lots of damage done. Virtus.Pro Snax, though, going to be snapping the head of Freakazoid as he pushes forwards. And they're trying to take over connector here as they take the bomb and plant it down. This is going to make life very difficult for the remaining players of Cloud9. Sean Gers going to go in hard there, but he's not going to get much done. Cloud9 just got Shroud of Nothing now, just the man shrouding. It's 3 players. There's the first frag onto Snax, but it's not going to go his way. 13-3, and it looks Looks bad for Cloud9. I can't imagine how they're feeling right now.
No, and this is the thing. We've both seen the same strat on the pistol round on the T side from both teams. Cloud9 played that really aggressive, fast B push on the first pistol round at the start of this map, and it didn't work for them. Virtus.Pro stopped them in very quick fashion indeed. Whilst this time, Virtus.Pro used those smokes and grenades to their advantages, peeked out at the right time and picked up some crucial kills, got the bomb down, and that was it. That was all she wrote in that round.
But hey, we got double scouts, baby.
Oh yeah.
And we have to see if these can actually work in the favor of Cloud9. It's going to be interesting here. We've got just a straight up trade play coming in from Virtus.Pro. They're just moving together as a unit. No messing around here. Moving down now with smokes to cover. But Skadoodle picks up three massive frags from Skadoodle with that 5-7. Excellent play there from Skadoodle. They brought this man in for a reason. He provides the stop. And now the hope is alive. Great stuff from Sean Gares. They are all over Virtus.Pro at the moment. It's back onto Taz for the clutch.
This is the thing. This is one danger that Virtus.Pro could get into here, that they take things a bit lightly and they take their foot off the gas pedal a tiny bit, because they 12-3 up, you've just won the pistol round, you're looking in great stead, and then, you know, you may take your foot off the pedal a tiny bit, and suddenly Skadoodle picks up 3 kills with a 5-7 like that, and the remaining 2 T players were like, oh, well now what do we do? Kind of left in an awkward predicament.
Yeah, definitely a very low percentage play to get 3 kills in that spot, but Skadoodle made it happen for his team. And now they've got a spot where this actually works out really well. If they can just be safe in this round, they stand a chance to build a really strong economy, and that's actually how you get a lot of rounds CT side of Train, by having a massive economy, so that you can always be buying the AWPs and auto snipers and nades and so on and so forth. You need a lot of money, but if you have that money, you're good to go. So here comes the play from Virtus.Pro. Looks like they may be trying to bait some players here, and indeed, everyone has put their attention now to A.
They try to enter their way into this larger bomb site. Snacks will fall initially. 2 players up in heaven by the looks of things. This is Sean Gares, I think, and nothing over towards there, but well, Taz actually is able to do some damage, but it's just going to be traded out here. It shouldn't be too much more going on, as they will all fall. Shroud with 3 quick kills there, and 13-5 it is. Cloud9 still trying to show some fighting force here, and those 3 kills with that 5-7, which we really can't underestimate from Skadoodle, was potentially the start of a comeback, but very long road to climb. But you know, they're professionals, 1 round at a time here.
Yeah, I mean, so Virtus.Pro, by losing that round, got $1,900, so they're all around 2K. So they're gonna, after they lose this one, they're gonna be getting 2,400. So they're gonna have just enough for a buy. So if Cloud9 can keep this going, they definitely stand a good chance to come close to tying up the game. Of course, it's always gonna be a mountain to climb, but it is Train. That's how it works. You got Shroud, players like Skadoodle. Nothing's been hitting his shots. Sean Gares as well. Everyone is actually been hitting their shots for Cloud9, and that's how you win standard setups on the CT side here. Just strong aim, good basic team play and fundamentals, and that's what is happening right now for Cloud9. They've got a pretty clean round so far. Can Neo Biali do anything sneaky? There it is. Neo, sneaky kill, and potentially a sneaky plant as well. Looks like that's for free.
He will be overpowered, though, by the looks of things. He has picked up that slightly more powerful P250 away from his Glock, though, and they got the bomb down, so they'll be pretty happy with that situation, just to boost their economy even more. But the rifle simply overpowered Virtus.Pro there. There's not much they can really do about that. They've got the best that they could hope for. Yeah.
That's going to put them all around 5,500, I think. 5,300 to 5,500. Unless they actually were buying up there, but no, around that range. So yeah, they can get AWPs if they want. They can pretty much play any which way they want. That bomb plant makes a really big difference. Full nades, full AKs, and even a bit of money to spare. So they don't even have to eco if they lose this round.
As we go into round number 20, 2/3 of the way through the normal time on this map, can we see Cloud9 bring it back and push Virtus.Pro right to the edge, or will the Polish side prevail and win this series in convincing fashion? We will see. And again, you know, they've not decided to go for that AWP. 5 rifles, it's going to be for Virtus.Pro once again.
Okay, so while Snacks, he's got Pop Dog. He's down the Pop Dog Lagger at least. He hasn't got the Pop Dog Train under control just yet. Sean Gares is the one in that position. But look how exposed he is. It's definitely very risky. He's just playing for a bit of info here, as he's only open to a pixel. And in come the nades. They know what's going on right now. Now the rotation is going to come in. They're going to leave 1 man towards the B-bomb site. But they'll be leaving themselves in the very capable arms of Sean Gares at the moment, who is very, very forward on the bomb train. He's got to stop that bomb from going down, and he's going to get eliminated immediately.
Big entry frag from Taz, but nothing will respond. He's not able to do more damage though as Bialy responds. Now leaving things in a 4 versus 3. Skadoodle, that is a very big kill onto Taz. We really cannot underestimate how big this round once again is for Cloud9. Skadoodle going big. This is what he can do, and it's all left up to Bialy here. The bomb is down, and the 2 players are very, very low indeed. He finds one. Will he find the second? No, he will not. Shroud gets the kill, and he will pick up the defuse with only 24 points left of health.
Now, I would do a really good impression of what would happen on the comms of Cloud9 there, but it would be really obnoxious to your ears because it would just be the sound of air hitting the mic as I just let out a huge sigh of relief because that clutch from Shroud there, which was just ridiculously important because the money is not super secure for them yet, and they cannot afford to give up anything. Again, you can't give up a single round on CT side. You just cannot. Can't happen. Have to have a strong economy going throughout the entire match. That's the only way it's going to work.
They've gone for that auto sniper buy early, which is, again, something that I mentioned that I've seen in a couple of online games quite early on in a half to see the auto sniper come out and Sean Gare deciding to utilise that. Shroud picks up Bialy. Snacks will respond. He has only got that Tech 9. Of course, we know what damage it can do with it. Pasha picks up another one here, and this is actually going very much in favour of Virtus.Pro. That's 3 big frags straight in a row. Taz will take down Freakazoid, and now Skadoodle, we know what damage he can do with this AWP. That's one. We see Taz very low on HP, only 9 points to him, but he's got a mountain to climb here. It's not going to happen. Virtus.Pro pick up the round, edging themselves ever closer to that victory.
Yeah, it's looking really grim for the North Americans now as just 2 rounds and Virtus.Pro have secured a very tidy 2-0 victory. But Cloud9 do have enough money to get in some weapons, but it's not looking as healthy as you'd like. They are missing a lot of grenades at the moment, and Skadoodle's only left with a scout, so this is a problem, a huge issue now, because Virtus.Pro will be unrelenting in their pushes. They're going to be going fast into that inner area very shortly, and Freakazoid is the only man there.
Well, this is the thing. Of course, you have got that fast rotate over towards A, but still, Freakazoid being the only player here now. They've got to go quick. We can see 2 players in. I think that's Skadoodle and Sean Gare making their way now through that Z connector to try and do damage. But hello, Snacks. That's 2 very big kills. Make that 3 kills for Snacks. He's dominating over towards him. Will he get the current to well, the ace even? Bialy comes to ruin the day for him, but still. A 4K from Snacks, what can you say?
That was ridiculous. Snacks basically, like the ridiculous thing, if someone goes back and looks at that round, all you have to do is go back and just open up the map overview and just watch how Snacks, by himself, moves through all the way into yard, but by himself, completely unspotted, gets between 4 players and then just kills all of them on the kind of the lurk. That's ridiculous. That should never happen.
No, it shouldn't. Cloud9 are going to be punished for it. They're down to pistols, and Virtus.Pro are on map and match point here. 3 points on the line in this game on Train, and Virtus.Pro looking very good indeed to take it. You have been knocked down to 9 points of health, but Taz gets the entry frag here. Nothing will fall as well. Sean Gare will respond onto that and reward himself with a AK-47, that is, for Sean Gare, but still, Virtus.Pro looking very good to take this one indeed, Dan, and we did predict that they would take it. Cloud9 looked potentially good here after we saw again that that eco win that they got earlier on, but it wasn't enough in the end by the looks of things, and now Sean Gare's the last one left alive. Yeah,
you can only imagine Virtus.Pro have some level of comfort on this map, and they must have definitely thought that Cloud9 would be in a very poor position, as 16-7 is the final score, so indeed they have made a good choice, and Virtus.Pro will be going ahead without too much trouble. It was pretty straightforward on both maps. You could see that they are the stronger team fundamentally at the moment. But I've got to say, it has been a pleasure to actually see Cloud9 with their new lineup in action. Yeah. I'm really excited to see them in the future as well.
Most certainly so. We've had various people say that it's potentially one of the strongest lineups that we've seen them have for a while. And with Skadoodle now, we just saw some of the potential damage that he can do there. I know the guys behind the Gfinity desk use the word potential quite scarcely at times. And
don't say that around Thorin.
No,
you'll get wrecked.
Yes, but still, I think everybody can argue that Skadoodle has got potential to really come into this roster and and see what damage he can do. Freakazoid as well with that entry fragging role. He showed at times there that he could do some good damage as well. Nothing was a tiny bit quiet at times in that second map, but on Cash he was absolutely on fire for the most part. So they've definitely got the good setup to get going now, and once they get that experience and start coming over to more EU events and everything and playing these EU teams more, who knows what they can do. Yeah,
I mean, again, new lineup, and then the fact that if they can just strengthen the overall map pool, just give themselves more options in the veto game, the veto system, because that does seem to be a huge issue, not just for the North American teams, but also the teams from Oceania. They also have, compared to Europe, a lot of trouble with just having an advantage situation in the map veto. It just doesn't happen. They just don't have that, unfortunately, because in Europe is much more active. The meta game is a little bit ahead. It's hard for them to be in that position. So definitely very impressed, though, by some of the stuff we saw from Skadoodle. He's still awesome.
Of course, he is still awesome.
If you had forgotten, he's still pretty awesome. And Freakazoid, actually, I have not really seen a huge amount from him. No. And so this was also quite refreshing to see how his role fits in with the team. And
it's nice to see it impact the other players as well, I think, over time, and I'm sure it will do. I'm sure it'll pick up the overall game of all of the players. Obviously, they're great, well-experienced players, and they've been doing some good damage on this roster for a while. But I'm really looking forward to seeing the potential of whether this addition of these two players will kind of revitalize the team as a whole and potentially improve all 5 players, in their own way, in their own game, and then overall as a team, again, see what damage they can do. But at this stage, at this early stage of their careers as a team of 5 with this current roster, not quite enough to take anything away from Virtus.Pro here.
And one thing about any teams that are looking to be up against Virtus.Pro and thinking about their veto process, Virtus.Pro didn't really show whether they're good or bad at train with that train game. You can't really get anything from that, because what you'd probably be looking for is seeing what kind of plays that they really bring out on the T side. And if I was in Virtus.Pro's position going into that game, I probably wouldn't even want to show it necessarily. No. If I had some crazy good plays, and if they're confident enough to take train, then it is very, very likely that their T side they could have something going on there that could be scary. So that's also still going to be a bit of a question mark for any teams vetoing against them.
They could have some sneaky tricks up their sleeve, and again, with that situation being 12-3 up, and then Cloud9 starting to bring it back, taking 4 rounds in a row, and starting to show what damage they can do. I think if it had maybe got almost Cloud9 into double figures or so, then we would have seen Virtus.Pro potentially pull out some little tricks that they may have up their sleeve on that map to try and see if they can just take out the win there. But still, they look strong, and even though Cloud9 did take those 4 rounds in a row, it didn't phase them whatsoever. They came straight back into it and finished it off with 4 of their own.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be very hard in the Cloud9 camp now. Yep. But of course, we have our very, very smart and lovely people that are much better dressed than you or I,
some sarcasm there,
over at the Gfinity desk. So take it away, Scoots.
Thank you, DDK.
Could he phone that in anymore?
Some people have said the thing with DDK is he's a bit insincere. He tries to talk everyone up, says everyone's great. But I'm coming around to him. I think he's a pretty honest guy, actually.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty solid with our throws and the time and effort we put into them. And he just kind of just tossed that at us. Anyway, so
disappointed.
Kind of as expected, Virtus.Pro takes them both. Takes 3 points into the groups.
Yeah, I mean that second map was pretty much exactly how the first one went down.
Yeah.
Virtus.Pro just running into a lead, Cloud9 coming back into it. And then you're like, well, can they make a comeback? Well, actually, no, because when you're playing against the good teams, the very good teams, once they've got that lead, once they've got that buffer, they know how to just grind out results. And that was exactly what happened across 2 maps for Cloud9 there. So really gave themselves an uphill battle. Last thing you want to do is do that.
And a big confidence booster for Taz, obviously, because this guy, listen, they went his position on the map every time, but he took care of them. He ground them out completely. They couldn't get anywhere on the map. And that's the thing. You were hoping to see, okay, they start on T side. Let's see what Cloud9 have here. Maybe they're into this map. They didn't seem to have a whole lot on that map. Freakazoid, he would only have the odd round. The thing with their team so far is it hasn't been a failure, even though they haven't really won the maps. But you look at them, and it's like they've got the pieces are there, but they're never there. It's not a functioning machine. It's like there's 1 or 2 pieces work for a couple of rounds, and this piece over here connects, but there's no synergy amongst all the pieces.
I mean,
I'm going to stop you.
Yeah, of course.
It's definitely worked out. For, like you said, Taz. It was a good segue. You were doing almost an MLG host thing there for a second because you saw Taz. We want to get to this interview first.
Just quality analysis. What are you talking about?
What you do. This is what you do. So again, without any further delay, and we're not even going to make fun of him right now, but Martin has Taz. Take it away, Martin.
Thanks very much, Scott. Thanks for being kind this time. I suppose it's probably getting on near his bedtime. Taz, well done. 3 points on the board. How are you and the rest of the boys feeling after that performance?
I think it's mostly a relief. We saw Cloud9 playing against Immunity before, so it looked like they are playing really good. So we just wanted to get 3 points, and yeah, we made it. So it's really good.
So you seem quite relaxed about the whole performance. You said you were relieved, but you look quite calm. Were you always sort of confident of winning both maps and walking away with the 3 points?
Not really. I mean, I even was pissed after cash. Like I was getting like one shots all the time, and I was really not in my comfort zone mentally. So luckily the guys were hitting their shots, and we made some good calls as T side. So we managed to win cash convincingly, and then train. I think we really feel good on train, and like even till now we don't know how we lost to Envy on train. I think it took us like 7 or 8 rounds, which we had to give them on the golden platter. So we just love that change from nuke to train.
Okay. So train is where you feel most confident. You kind of feel unbeatable, pretty much.
Well, we lost, so.
Yeah. So maybe not then.
Yeah, I mean, we feel very confident, but overall, I think that the maps are good for us now. On this event at least, where we don't have nuke, so we just need to be worried about one map or two. But then we also practiced Inferno and Dust 2, and we won Dust 2 against TSM. So at some point, we just don't know which maps should we ban, and just try to ban the maps against certain teams we play.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously one of the big strategic decisions that you have to make before each game. So in terms of who else is in your group, who do you feel is going to be the real sort of tough match to kind of stop you progressing?
I think it's Titan, Envy, and Cloud9. For me, they're on the same level. Right. So if we manage to beat Cloud9 now, we just need to look to Titan and Envy, and and of course we cannot let Immunity take any map from us, because they were very close today. And even though they lost very heavy against Cloud9, they almost picked map against Titan, and it's our home map, Mirage. So I guess we'll play against them on Mirage if they dare to pick it. So we will see.
Okay, good stuff. And so you're off to that winning start. How important is it to make a good start when you've got this sort of tournament format?
In case when you have like 8 maps to play in a group stage, it doesn't feel that very important to win first game. But when you look at the group system and how it looks, like you have if you lose one map, you gain like maximum 1 point, and if you win 2-0, you get 3 points. So that's the biggest difference. Yeah. And it's not about how you start the tournament, it's about each game, and that you need to win 2-0, not like 1-1 or like worst case scenario 0-2. So just focus on each map and not looking about like other games or any kind of pressure that you need to start good.
Fair enough. So each map at a time, each game at a time. Start well but finish strongest. Everybody, that was Taz. You can buy these hats actually. They're £500 each. Just told me I can have one. Call him. We'll go to his website, www.tazhats.org. Boys on the desk, this guy's too much fun, but you guys are loads more fun too. Over to you.
The thing is, I mean, Taz actually is also kind of balding as well. But the difference is he wears the hat to cover it. I feel like Martin would do that, but he'd look like Tom Hanks in Philadelphia or something. you know.
I'm just hoping.
One of the great actors.
Just kind of hoping
in a memorable part that you won the Oscar for. I'm just saying,
Jesus. Okay. We've all had a drink. So let's,
I wish.
Yeah, let's just.
It is about time.
Let's just get to the end.
Okay, so again. There he is. There he is.
Right, he's coming for you.
Okay.
Oh man.
Who's got my strawberry tart?
Oh.
The steak.
Look at Martin.
He's gonna get.
So. I want to talk about nothing a little bit, right? Because we talked about him in like very. He was the top fragger on the team. Yep. Map 1, not enough, like you said. Like
not on map 2 though.
And like literally the opposite. That is the story of Jordan's kind of career.
It's like I said,
hit, miss.
Unfortunately, when he showed up was when the other guys didn't, and then when they got it going, they actually had some rounds. He was never there to back them up, So those that's not working at the moment,
Yeah, they got to fix that. I mean, I think he went the first 10 rounds and he was like -1. 9 or 10 rounds.
Because from what we've seen so far, Freakazoid isn't going to top frag. Like in general, he's getting some entry kills. He's doing his job sometimes. I don't have any complaints with him so far. It seems like he's doing what he can. We know what Sean's going to do. We know his job. So it's really on those other 3. Difference is against normal teams, against NA teams, they don't all have to go crazy. Against teams like Virtus.Pro here, very skilled. Their best players are very skilled, can go head-to-head with anyone in the world. You're going to need a lot of firepower as well as tactics, etc., to get over the hump against them, because they can always keep it close from many different aspects. They're great T sides, very solid on CT, and then a lot of skill as well.
I mean, you can see they've just obviously had a roster change. There was lots of times where they weren't, facing in the right directions. They were all looking at the same spots. They were getting caught by, rotations, getting flanked quite often. And Duncan's quite astute, I think, in his observation where he's saying, actually, there were some good bits in fits and starts. There was Skadoodle pulled off some amazing little moments, but never won a round off the back of one of them.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look at Snacks, he jumps out of that vent area here on Cash, drops 3 bodies, see ya, that's it, that's the round over. The difference is when Skadoodle's doing it, he's getting 3 kills at the end of a round where it's like he's got someone else he needs to kill to even have any, to win that round.
No, that's the thing. VP have a lot of impact players.
Yeah.
Whereas the thing was, Skadoodle would have rounds where, I mean, on training he had that ridiculous no-scope where, is he going to turn this into a highlight at 3K? No, he just dies, and then, the round continues on. A lot of it was like that, and it's like, that's the thing. That's actually something that does separate. That's why I don't feel like Skadoodle's in peak form yet. What separates just the okay to good AWPers from the greatest AWPers is the greatest AWPers hit all the baseline shots, then they hit the party pieces on top. If you're the guy who just hits the crazy shots only, you're not going to be a great AWP actually, because you're not putting down kind of like the fundamentals of the game that's going to build it up and going to always put your team in the 4v5 and the 4v3, etc., like that. And then every now and then, sometimes you do the crazy shot. The moment Skadoodle's hitting some wild shots, he's hitting some nice shots, but he's not really having super solid games. He had sort of one half there. That's about it.
Yeah, and like you said, you guys have both alluded to, this is a new roster. It is going to take time.
Yeah, you've got to give them time. But I mean, I think perhaps what's most depressing of all is I think these score lines are a little bit deceptive, because while it might look good, here we are, we've got highlights playing from when the game was at 12-9. You think, wow, 12-9? This game must have been close. Well, no, actually, by that point, Virtus.Pro had they'd completely gone down the gears, and they were just grinding out the result. They weren't really trying.
On both maps, VP always had a cushion. Even on the one there, where it was only 9-6 at the half, it was never quite enough that they were in danger, and you always felt like, okay, if they lose this round, it took everything from Cloud9, they'll get the next 2, and they would. It would always go like that.
Yeah, and that's another good point as well. Even on the rounds that Cloud9 were winning, they were almost like Pyrrhic victories a lot of the time, because you were having to give up so much in terms of monies. So they were always, Virtus.Pro were always getting kills, even on the rounds they were losing. There was hardly any clean rounds at all. So then you go into train, and Virtus.Pro just, again, I think we can answer that question quite comprehensively. Do Cloud9 have anything up their sleeve on train? No. Turns out no. You can beat an Australian team.
They didn't have all the great... The thing is, the whole thing with this map, as everyone's gone on about, but it's true, there's all these possibilities for smokes. And if you have some unique strategies, well, people aren't going to know instantly, or even in the next round, what do you do to even beat that? That's one of the dangerous things about playing train right now. Unless you're a master of it initially, you're going to be in a situation where if someone gets a really crazy round off on you, on the other maps, okay, that's beaten us, but we know roughly what the answer to it is. You might even be able to figure out the answer in a map. You might someone else might have to lose, and then you'll figure out from them.
I'll give you a prime example of the indication of perhaps Cloud9's level on this. Like right at the pistol round, so you've got the hard yards to do. T pistol on train. We know it's a CT-sided map traditionally. So you're like, okay, so they go inner, which is a classic tactic. Now, Taz actually fluffed his nade right at the start of the pistol round. Fluffed it, missed it, winged it, didn't ding anybody, right? So you're like, okay, that's pretty good. They push out through the smoke, and Taz pulls off a ridiculous one-bullet headshot. He gets backed up by his wingman, who I can't remember, another headshot. Taz gets another headshot, and they've dropped 3 bodies like that. Now, that should have been an opportunity to get some flashes out. The moment that nade misses, and you go through that smoke, you need to get some flashes down, go for the quick plant. They haven't done that, and they've given away that pistol round. So now it's an uphill struggle, and it just played into Virtus.Pro's hand. And that's what I mean. It's like you can see right away that they haven't actually had a lot of time to prepare on this map. The Australian result was almost like an anomaly.
Yeah. It's like they had played it a little bit, and Community had not played it.
Well, they just classed their way through it, basically. They just the class well out.
So let's kind of skip to the other North American team, because that was on the secondary stream.
Yeah.
But they ended up splitting the match with Na'Vi. Team Liquid takes a map over Pass, and that score was 16-11, and obviously they got decimated 16-2 on the first map, which was Dust 2. But again, that group ends up, and again, Liquid's played 2 matches. Everybody else has only played 1. But literally, Fnatic's got a point. Nip has 3 points. Na'Vi, Liquid, Vox, all with 1 point. So, and again, with Liquid having 2 matches in their belt, but everybody else,
well,
wide open.
Here's what's interesting, okay? So you look at Vox and you go, come on, man, there's some Na'Vi, NIP, they're still going to be hard to get out the group. But what they can do here is give a team like Liquid even an opening, because Liquid's got a point now if they can beat someone. You know, it's like those 2 teams can help each other in that sense, because they're scoring, like, Fnatic's obviously lost points against Vox. Now Na'Vi have lost points against Liquid. They're opening the door for each other to at least it'll be closer. It won't be those top teams just pulling away immediately, and before we've even had to play the last game, we know who's going through.
So I'm guessing Na'Vi picked us too.
Since it was secondary stream, I don't have that since it was the challenger stream.
That would make sense. I mean, to lose on Overpass, I don't know. That's
Na'Vi's a good Overpass.
Yeah, it's a surprising result. It's a surprising result. You know, I said my prediction was going to be that Na'Vi would be more of the same. You would see a 16-2, a 16-3 maybe, and that would be all she wrote. You know, for Team Liquid, they weren't having a good time. So when the first 16-2 come in, I was like, right, you've got 5 rounds across 3 maps there. Yeah. Team Liquid having a bad time. And then for them to pull it back and get a win, to pull the point out, keeps their hopes in the group alive with other results going their way. Vox have done them a massive favour taking that point with Fnatic.
The big concern, though, if you're Liquid, is you've still got to play Fnatic.
Yeah. But if Fnatic could drop maps against Vox, I mean, I suppose that's something.
That also makes me worry. It's one of those scenarios where you're thinking that, but then Fnatic come out, and now they're woken up by the fact they've lost the map, and they're right, let's just destroy whoever's in front of us now. It happens to be you, and you're like, cheers, mate. I would have liked it if they were cruising at that point and thought they were going to be top, and I could have the surprise.
But we're the wounded animal, right? Yeah, so...
So yeah, I mean, again, it's nice to see. You know, they put a map up. They got a point at least. They didn't get shut out.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's good, but again, what
the little things.
What the North American teams need to be thinking about here is, like I say, you can't. You know, where's that North American swagger that you used to have back in the day? If these are the
banned.
If these, I mean, that's pretty much accurate.
They're actually at home tweeting us right now. Is where that is.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say that's why everyone's like, Steele's such a great observer. Yeah, he's always observing tournaments from his home. You know what I mean? But anyway, the point.
Love you, Jeff.
Sorry, mate. Okay, sorry, mate. But the point is, like, I think they shouldn't be happy. Like, yeah, okay, we've took them out, but well, you know, let's start winning some games. Like the resources are there now. Team Liquid's a huge organisation. Cloud9's a huge organisation. There's resources there. There's talent there. You've got to start, you know, raising your own standards of what is acceptable. Yeah. And you know, I think signs of life. It's definitely better than what happened in their first game, but you know, now they've got to be looking at it like, surely we're better than Vox. You know, surely a North American Counter-Strike organisation has got to say, well, we've got more resources, more talent to operate on. You know, we've got to be aiming higher than the Australians. And as you pointed out in your video, which I think it wasn't even your video. I think someone just took a clip from Face It. And it was you lamenting the passing of North American CS. The Australians have been ahead of them lately. You know, it's not good enough for America.
Do you think if you, like, because they both North American teams have good deals. Obviously, Cloud9's well taken care of by their organization, salaries, etc. Team Liquid, I imagine, is doing quite well by them. Do you think somewhere along the way, and Vox is probably not. No. I haven't talked to those guys about their salary, but it can't be the same level. No way. Do you think like the hunger goes away when the wallet gets like filled? You know what I mean? Or does it?
I don't really know, because I'll give you a team that not that long ago, a couple of teams that signed to big orgs and got big checks. Envious, TSM. Look how many events they've won this year. Something like 5 already between them. You know, so. I'm not sure that's like that valid an excuse, especially as the old excuse used to be that we didn't have the salaries and so we couldn't take it full time and be sit. Well, now you've got it, that can't then be your excuse, you know. Like, I actually agree with what Richard's saying here in as much as the context for these storylines, right? Okay, right now I can be a bit forgiving. Like, okay, Cloud9's a new roster. Liquid haven't had that much experience in Europe. I can give them a couple more events, maybe 1 or 2 for Cloud9. It's pushing it already for Liquid. They're having some chances they've blown. But eventually it can't be the old mentality of like, okay, if you guys can just upset one time, or if you can have one top 4, that's great. With all the money and the organization and every opportunity, now you have the opportunity money-wise to fly to Europe, practice there. Now the actual goal has to be, you have to be as good as these teams. Yeah. It can't be, you can be the outsider looking. No, every factor says now you have to be at the level of a Titan, an Navi. Okay, maybe not NIP, maybe not a Fnatic, but you have to at least be at their level. The teams that are outsiders to win a tournament, and you can always know they'll be in a series, a best of 3.
Yeah, based on what we've seen, Cloud9 has the better chance of being.
Yeah, but you mentioned like Envious and TSM. I think it's pretty easy to say they earned their raises.
Definitely.
You know, whereas did Cloud9 earn their raise? Did Team Liquid earn their starting salaries yet? No, it's a different thing. We did the same thing at EG.
Certainly,
We
yeah.
paid them really well, and so they could.
EG paid well?
We did
I had
back
no
in the day.
idea, Scott.
There was a while that we had the best paid 1.6 team when Tommy
no,
was playing for us.
obviously you did.
But obviously, not that, and that's nothing compared to now. Like no one would play for that money. Yeah. But the point being, we did that because we didn't want them to have part-time jobs. We didn't want them to do anything because that was the only way in hell we were ever going to come to Europe and do decent at all.
Yep.
You know, but even I said, are we overpaying?
So you
them?
told me then, if you were there in that situation, do you think there were ever, not all the time, but were there ever times where people maybe took it for granted, or
I
they
think
felt
so, and
they
that's why I
coasted
wanted to
a bit,
ask
you know?
And again, like often we did more so with the StarCraft guys. It was more of an incentive-based contract, right? If you do this, this, and this, you get a raise. You do this, this, and this, you get a raise. So you kind of dangled the carrot all year long.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know the deals of these two teams, but I always wonder, like, are you just? Do they just go, okay, well,
The thing is, I actually
sit
suggested
back. I got money already.
This was one of my suggestions that NA organizations could do. Still offer the same money. You've still got the same budget. There's no point just keeping it in a corner somewhere where you could pay them that much. But make it incentivized.
Yeah.
So, and here's the thing: make them incentives that you can reach. It's not like you have to win the tournament, then you get half your salary. No, it'd be stuff like you start out, okay, this is how much we give you each time you make a top 4 in Europe, or here's how much you get for winning one map off Fnatic or something. You know, there'd be rankings and like that. You know, so achievable goals, but that eventually, once they start to add up, are building into what you want anyway, which is we're winning series now, we're getting placings. Eventually, you can get the big money, hey, maybe even more money if you then do get to the place where you're now a world-class team, because now you will have earned it, and it will then have made sense to give you.
Yeah, ideally you just keep them hungry, right? Versus sate them and they just sit back and go, oh well, I got all the money, I don't really need to work so hard.
Yeah.
So again, we don't know how it's going to turn out. Like you said,
I really want
roster.
to. Like what Counter-Strike really needs, it says it's becoming more global. You know, we're getting teams in Brazil.
Yeah.
That can be, competitive, and South America is going to be a huge market in the next 12 to 18 months.
We're going to get Asia back, man. They got to come back to
and
us.
then, we haven't even tapped into Asia yet. I still think Global Offensive needs to go free to play before we can really do that, but that's just my opinion. That's what history has shown us. But, we need North America to be toe-to-toe with Europe by the time we start expanding that market. Wouldn't it be ridiculous if, we were expanding into Asian territories and North America was still, all the way
I've
down
got an
here?
interesting theory for you, or like a factor that could play out here, though, which is NA teams right now, because they were the only teams left, and they were the only ones that weren't with big orgs, they got kind of the bidding war over them because they were what was left, and people were just like, I want to get in the game quickly now. I want to have a place. I want to have a team now.
Yeah.
So that's why they got all these money in this bidding war, but I think there's a clock on that. Like, what's going to happen is, after a year and a half, some of these big orgs that are paying massive money to these teams that are finishing 6th place, maybe coming close to winning a best of 3, but not really over a top European team, eventually they're going to look at their fellow NA orgs, TSM, Envious, and go, well, they just signed world-class teams from Europe, and they don't have the NA presence, but they can still market them, and they're winning events. They're getting podium, they're paying the same money, and they're getting a lot for it. So eventually, it's going to be the case that some of these European teams, who, as I've kind of alluded to and Richard did, are making less money now than some of these NA orgs that are placing much lower than them. Eventually, their contracts are going to come up, and then if this NA org wants to get a team right now, you don't even have to wait and build anything.
Happens
You want
in
a
every
world-class
game.
team.
So kind of natural
They're going to come
selection
with
will work
those.
itself out.
Yep.
So it's not that the NA teams are going to get cut out of the loop, but they've got kind of a little bit of a clock on them. They can't just sit back forever like, we'll always be on the best salaries.
Which is
You
good.
won't
That's how it
necessarily.
should be. Like I said,
no,
keep
there
them
should
hungry.
be that pressure there.
Yep.
Market pressure,
All right, well, thank you, gentlemen. We are not done for the night. 2 more matches, 1 on each stream. Our match is Fnatic Nip.
This is a beast.
Holy crap. But the other stream, Envious Titan. So, I think we're ending on 2 amazing matches. So that being said, get yourself something to drink, something to eat. We'll be right back to bring you those last matches of the night.